Okay, so before this video starts, I just wanna say that this isn't my story. It's a fanfic. The link will be in the description, which will have other links as well. Also, with these videos I don't listen to the videos I upload, so if there is anything that is too bad or explicit for YouTube, then let me know and please timestamp it. Anyways, let's get into the video.
Hello?
Anime demigod.
Here?
Izuku Midoriya, 4 years old, son of Inko and Hisashi Midoriya. Today was the day he was hoping for today he was going to find out what kind of quirk he had. "Come on, Mom," he said as he grabbed his mother's hand. Inko smiled. "Easy there, Izuku, the doctors are still going to be there." However, Izuku couldn't wait. All of his friends were already getting their quirks and now it was his turn. With his All Might figure in his hands, Izuku arrived at the doctor's office. Some X-rays later, Inko and Izuku were now waiting for the doctor. "So what kind of quirk do you think I'll get?" questioned Izuku. "I hope you get one like mine. You can be an amazing hero with it," said Inko. Izuku gleamed as he pondered what kind of quirk he would get. That's when the doctor walked in with a file. Taking a seat across from the boy, he sighed. Inko began to worry. "Doctor, is everything all right?" "Well, I don't know how to say this, but sorry kid, you can't be a hero." Izuku's eyes widened as he dropped his All Might toy. Inko was just as surprised. What? "Doctor, that is impossible. Both my husband and I have quirks. This has to be a mistake." The doctor reached into the file and pulled out X-ray images. Putting it up in the light, Inko saw the image of Izuku's foot. "See this here, he only has one pinky joint, whereas people who develop quirks have two. This is a clear sign that he won't develop a quirk. Sorry kid, but you can't be a hero." The car ride back to Izuku's apartment was long and quiet. Opening the door, Izuku said nothing as he walked over to the computer and played videos of All Might rescuing people. "Izuku." With tears in his eyes, Izuku turned to his mother. "Mom, can I become a hero without a quirk?" Now Inko had tears coming down her face. "Izuku," running over to him, Inko hugged her son tight. "I'm so sorry, Izuku, I'm so sorry." 10 years later. Now 14 years old, Izuku had already accepted the fact that he couldn't become a hero. Instead, he turned his attention to helping them. In those 10 years, Izuku began to take notes and design support items that could help future heroes. He was even aiming for UA, just not the hero course. He was aiming for the support department. But even then he still had to put up with bullying. Izuku was in class drawing in his notebook. The class was loud and excited. "Alright everyone, calm down. I know you are all excited for the break, but class is not over yet," said their teacher. "Now you should all start thinking about what high school you want to attend. I know you all have strong quirks and you all want to be heroes, but think realistically." That's when a blonde-haired boy with red eyes scoffed. "Don't lump me in with these losers, I'm way better." This was Bakugo Katsuki. "Right, Bakugo, you are trying to get into UA, right?" asked the teacher. "That's right, so don't compare me to them. I'm going to be the best damn hero out there," said Bakugo, his voice full of pride. "Wait, Midoriya, you are trying to get into UA too, right? For the support department, right?" Bakugo turned to Midoriya with rage in his eyes. "Yeah, I think since I don't have a quirk I can still get in with my brain," explained Izuku. "What was that?" yelled out Bakugo. "I thought I told you before that I'm going to be the only one to get into UA." Izuku raised an eyebrow. "Why would I care what you want? You're trying to get into the hero course, I'm trying to get into the support course. I don't see why that's such a big deal." "Why you?" Bakugo was about to walk over to Izuku when the teacher stopped him. "That's enough, Bakugo, sit down or I'll keep you after school." Bakugo relented and sat back down. "Good, now as most of you know, we have our field trip to YTC tomorrow. I expect everyone to be on their best behavior." It was now the end of class and Izuku was getting ready to leave when Bakugo slammed his hand down on Izuku's desk. "Hey Deku, stay and have a chat with me." Izuku looked up to see Bakugo. "I'm good." Getting up to leave, Izuku was suddenly grabbed by Bakugo. "I wasn't asking." Shoving Izuku back into his seat, Bakugo looked down at him. "What the F***ck are you doing, Deku?" "What are you talking about?" asked Izuku. "I mean UA, I'm the only one in this worthless school that's getting into UA. I don't care if it is the support department, you will not take that UA exam." "Got it," said Bakugo as he burned part of Izuku's shoulder. Izuku flinched in pain but eventually slapped his hand away. "Listen Bakugo, I don't know what your problem is, but I've just about had it with your bullying. If you are going to do something, then do it, I'm right here." You know what? Izuku then grabbed Bakugo by the arm and forced him to place his palm on Izuku's forehead. You either do it now, or you get the F***ck out of my face. Bakugo's eyes widened. After a few seconds he pulled his arm back. Screw you Deku, if you show up to the exam I'll kick your ass. You don't even have a quirk, so do yourself a favor and throw yourself off the roof and hope you get a quirk in the next life. Turning around, Bakugo noticed Izuku's notebook and proceeded to throw it out of the window. Izuku watched as Bakugo walked away, breathing a sigh of relief. Izuku grabbed his stuff and went out to look for his notebook. After a while he found it in a puddle of water. Grabbing it he noticed the pages were messed up. Damn it, why can't he just leave me alone? I never did anything to him, so why does he hate me? Izuku yelled out. Defeated, Izuku walked home and took the long way home. This meant going down an alley. Little did he know danger lurked just above him. Yes, this one will do just fine, said a sludge villain. Man, my notebook is ruined. I'm going to have to copy all the notes down again. Stupid Bakugo, even if I don't have a quirk I could still be a hero if I wanted to. Maybe I should go for the hero course, that will show him. I might not get in but I can at least try, there's always hope, said Izuku. Behind him the sludge villain oozed his way down the wall and without warning the villain wrapped himself around Izuku's body. Izuku tried to yell out for help but couldn't. Shhh, relax kid, the more you struggle the more it hurts. So sit back and let me take that body. Izuku tried to fight back but all his efforts were in vain. Am I dying? Damn, I thought I was going to live longer. Mom, I'm so sorry. Just as the villain was about to take over Izuku's body a loud voice was heard. Fear not my young friend, for I am here. Texas smash. With a single punch the sludge villain was blown off of Izuku. Hitting the floor Izuku began to cough out green slime. Are you alright? Izuku looked up to see All Might, the number one hero, a tall muscular man with yellow hair and full of muscle. All Might. The number one hero laughed, the one and only, so I take it you're a fan? Here, let me sign that notebook of yours. Before Izuku could react, All Might grabbed his notebook and signed his name across 2 entire pages. Here. Izuku couldn't believe it. Thank you so much. Anytime. Now I should get this villain to the police station, said All Might as he held up a bottle with the villain inside. Goodbye. All Might crouched down but just as he jumped Izuku launched onto his leg. Wait, I have a question. But it was too late, All Might had already jumped into the air. Now in the air the hero noticed Izuku attached to his leg. What are you doing, kid? This is very dangerous. Let go. If I let go, I'll die, yelled out Izuku. Guess you're right. Hold on, kid. I'll get you down. Landing on a nearby building Izuku flopped on the roof. That was reckless, kid, now I really got to go. Wait, all I want is an answer to my question. All Might stopped. I just want to know, can someone quirkless become a hero? Izuku closed his eyes and awaited an answer. No, they can't. Izuku's eyes widened. You need to be strong in order to be a hero. Without power you are bound to get hurt. I would suggest being a police officer, not as glamorous but just as heroic. Anyway kid, I really got to go, later. With that Izuku was left on the roof thinking about what All Might just said. That was the last of my hope. Whatever, I'm done dreaming about being a hero. If All Might thinks I can't then I guess it really is impossible. Dejected and depressed Izuku made his way home. There was an accident but Izuku ignored it. The next day Izuku found out that Bakugo was attacked by the same sludge villain. It somehow got away from All Might and almost attached itself to Bakugo. Lucky for him All Might was around to save him. Izuku, along with the rest of his class, were now on a bus heading to YTC headquarters. YTC was known as Japan's top weapons and research company. Their most recent adventure took them into space, where they actually retrieved a part of an asteroid back with them. After a 2-hour drive the class finally arrived at the building, and boy was it massive. 60 floors purely dedicated to research and development. This building alone could give Island a run for its money. The tour began with the founder of the company, Kenshin Yorozu. He personally greeted the students. Welcome everyone to my wonderful building, or as I like to call it, the gateway to the future. Please feel free to look around, I guarantee that you will find something interesting. Well, I have a meeting to get to so I must go. With that Kenshin bowed and went back into his office escorted by 2 of his guards. Well then, shall we get the tour started? Asked the guide. The class then began to walk towards the second floor. however as Izuku was walking he looked up to see a fairly tall girl around his age with black hair staring down at them. Whoa, she's pretty. Izuku blinked and when he opened his eyes she was gone. I wonder who she was. Floor by floor the class was shown what YTC was working on. It ranged from military to civilian. It was now lunchtime and the class was led to the cafeteria where they would eat. Izuku sat alone looking around at the cafeteria, and after 30 minutes they were just about ready to keep going. However, Izuku wanted to wash his hands first. Finding the restroom he did what he wanted to do and walked out. Only to see that his class was already gone. Oh come on. Now panicking Izuku thought back to what the guide said. If I remember correctly, they should be heading down to the 17th floor. Walking over to the elevator Izuku walked in and just as he was about to press the button the doors shut. What? Without warning the elevator suddenly began to go down, but surprisingly it went past the lobby. It finally stopped at level Z, the doors opened. What Izuku saw surprised him. The floor was full of what seemed to be containment chambers. Walking out of the elevator Izuku began to look around. Looking inside the containment chambers he saw what looked like people but they weren't moving. Going deeper into the level he came upon a small glass container that was in the back of the room. The container had something inside it, something black and goo looking. Whoa, what is that? Questioned Izuku. Placing his hand on the container the goo began to move and form the shape of Izuku's hand. It feels like it's calling to me, it wants to be free, it needs to be free. Grabbing the container Izuku lifted it up and threw it to the ground, breaking the container. That's when the alarms started to blare out. Izuku looked around panicked. What did I just do? He questioned as he frantically looked around. That's when the goo began to move, slowly at first but it suddenly jumped onto Izuku without him noticing it. I need to get out of here. Running towards the elevator Izuku began to press the buttons hoping that one would take him to the lobby. Come on, move. We need to find and contain it. Yelled out a man wearing tactical gear and brandishing a rifle. That is when several armed men began to appear and search the floor. Izuku's eyes widened. Come on, come on. Finally after what felt forever the doors shut and up Izuku went. The elevator dinged as Izuku arrived at the lobby. As luck would have it, his class was also there being ushered out of the building. Sneaking into the crowd Izuku managed to get out without getting caught. As the class stood outside Izuku once again saw the girl with raven black hair. She looks worried. I wonder why. Unfortunately the class trip was cut short due to a gas leak. On the bright side Izuku got to go home early. After explaining what happened at the trip Izuku went to lay down in his bed. For some reason he was really tired. Izuku was sound asleep when he heard someone call out to him. Izuku Midoriya. Snapping his eyes open Izuku looked around and noticed it was already night time. Yeah mom, he yelled out. No response. Getting up from the bed Izuku walked into the kitchen where Inko was making dinner. You called mom. Inko turned around. Oh Izuku you're up, and no I didn't call you. I was going to in a few when dinner is ready. Izuku was confused, he was sure someone called out his name. Oh okay, I'll just be in my room finishing some homework. Going back to his room Izuku began to do his homework when again someone called out to him, Izuku Midoriya. Turning around Izuku saw that no one else was in his room. Who was that? Izuku Midoriya. Getting up from his chair Izuku looked around the room, inside his closet, underneath his bed but still couldn't find who was calling out to him. Hello? Is anyone there? Izuku. Dinner is ready, yelled out Inko. Izuku jumped at the sound of his mother. Man, I must be really tired, I should just eat and head to bed. Walking out of his room Izuku went to eat. His mother had made his favorite katsudon. Normally Izuku would only have a single bowl, but for some reason this time he had 4 and even then he was still hungry. Izuku then walked into his room and immediately felt lightheaded. He began to sweat profusely, and felt his heart start beating out of his chest. What's going on? He questioned as he staggered towards his bed. His vision blurred, his coordination faltered. Izuku tried to walk straight but couldn't put one foot in front of the other. With each step he grabbed onto the drawer, knocking everything down from it. Somehow making it to his bed Izuku laid there on his stomach. What's happening to me? He tried to call out for help but the words couldn't manifest. Closing his eyes Izuku passed out. After a few hours something began to call out to him. Wake up Izuku Midoriya. Wake up. Snapping his eyes open Izuku noticed the city lights. Huh? What? Where am I? Looking around Izuku was surprised to see that he was atop of a building overlooking the city. What the hell? How did I get up here? Quiet down, will you? You are way too loud, yelled out someone inside Izuku's mind. Izuku turned around. That voice, who are you? Show yourself. Just then black ooze appeared from behind Izuku. No, rather it appeared from Izuku himself. Whatever it was, it looked like goo, almost like a liquid, but it held its shape. It then began to manifest a face, with razor-sharp teeth and pure white long thin eyes. Izuku Midoriya, I am Venom. Izuku fell back onto his butt in fear. What are you? The face then smiled, revealing its freakishly long tongue. Think back, Izuku, where do you think I came from? Izuku's eyes then widened as he remembered. Be back at YTC headquarters. You're that black blob I found, the one I set free. Precisely, and I couldn't be more thankful, but you are mistaken. You did not find us, we called out for you and you came. We are meant for each other, we are meant to complete our mission, explained Venom. What mission? Asked Izuku. To conquer this world. And for that we need to be bonded to someone, said Venom. Conquer the world? But why? Why me? Asked Izuku. Because you are the perfect host. Most of this world's inhabitants have what you call quirks. It is very difficult to be bound to someone with such abilities, but you have no quirk. Izuku's eyes widened. And no. I don't want this, I don't want you. Izuku then tried to pull at Venom, but his efforts were in vain. I cannot be separated from you, Izuku, we are now bonded. We are now Venom. That's when Venom pulled itself back into Izuku and began to spread. First it was his back, then his arms, legs, and then his face. Izuku could feel every inch of his body was covered in the goo, in Venom. With his razor-sharp claws now fully formed, Venom let out a roar that echoed throughout the night. This world is vast and its people strong. I need to scout things out before I make my move, said Venom as he jumped from the building and crashed down onto the street below. The people screamed out in terror as they saw Venom rise out of the crater. They all have power, but choose not to fight me? Are they weak? Just then the cops began to show up. Freeze. Don't move or we'll shoot, yelled out one officer as they drew their guns. What are those weapons? Asked Venom as he walked towards the officers. Seeing this, one of the officers yelled out, Fire. That's when all the officers at the scene began to open fire at Venom. But to their surprise, Venom was not going down. The bullets were actually being absorbed into the black ooze. After emptying their guns, the officers stood stunned. What kind of quirk is that? Venom then smiled, brandishing its teeth. My turn. Jumping at one of the vehicles, Venom kicked it with so much force that it skid across the street and crashed into a building, breaking the wall. That's when Venom charged into the officers, grabbed one of them by the face and threw them around like rag dolls. Bodies and bullets flew over their heads as people tried to run for their lives. One by one the officers fell unable to do anything. One officer got into his car and radioed for help. Code 4, we have a villain attacking us. Any heroes in the area hearing this, please respond. But before the officer could say anything else, Venom threw his massive fist through the windshield of the car. Pulling the officer out, Venom threw him into a building. One officer watched his happen, but as he turned back, Venom appeared in front of him and grabbed him by the neck. You smell quite tasty, human. So many organs, I wonder which one tastes the best. Let's find out, shall we? Opening its mouth, Venom was about to bite the head right off the officer, when all of a sudden something wrapped around the cop's waist and pulled him away. Sorry, but you won't be eating anyone today, said a man wearing goggles and a weird-looking scarf. You must be what the boy calls a hero. One of several in this world, said Venom. That's right, and I'm here to stop you. The man then threw his scarf at a light pole and used it to swing towards Venom. Venom tried to use its claws, but the man threw his scarf again and used it to dodge. Using the momentum, the man kneed Venom in the nose. Nice hit, but I hit harder. Pulling back its fist, Venom reshaped its hand into an anvil. The man's eyes widened as the black anvil hit him in the chest, sending him flying towards a nearby car. Dazed, the man grabbed at his head and felt blood running down. He tried to get up, but that's when Venom appeared in front of him. You fought hard, hero, but in the end you were no match for me. Now I'll enjoy eating you. Using his massive arm, Venom picked up the hero. Venom was about to bite into the man when all of a sudden he dropped him. The man was confused. No, stop, what are you doing? How do you have control? This should be impossible. Staggering back in pain, Venom could feel Izuku fighting back inside his mind. You want me? Then you'll have to fight me for use of my own body. yelled out Izuku. Venom screeching out as part of his face became undone. The hero watched as a green eye looked at him. There's someone in there? Hold on, I'll get you out. Getting up, the man activated his quirk, which was the power to erase the quirks of others temporarily. For he was known as the pro-hero Eraserhead. However, Eraserhead was surprised to see that it wasn't working. My quirk has no effect? That's impossible. Venom then fell to his knees. Fine. If you won't listen to me, then I'll just force you to. Regaining some control, Venom turned and jumped into the air. Once there, he looked at his arm. That man was onto something. Maybe I should give it a go. That's when sharp tentacle spikes began to appear from Venom's body and jab into the building. Using his strength, Venom began to climb up the sides, making it to the roof. Venom jumped. As he was in midair, Venom copied Eraserhead's capture weapon and used it to swing from building to building. After swinging for a good while, Venom landed on the roof of a tall building and went back into Izuku's body. Izuku was now on the roof, sweating and shaking. Why did you stop me from killing the hero? Questioned Venom. Are you crazy? That was a hero, they only help people, explained Izuku. If that's true, then why do you hate one in particular? Izuku's eyes went wide. How did you know? Asked Izuku. We told you, did we not? I am inside you, Izuku. I know everything, every thought, every memory, and every experience. There's nothing I don't already know about you, said Venom. You're wrong. I don't hate him, yelled out Izuku. Oh, but you do. You trusted the hero called All Might, idolized him. Yet when you just wanted a bit of hope, he broke you. Izuku gritted his teeth. Shut up. He saw what everyone else around you sees, a useless piece of flesh. A Deku. I said shut up. I am not useless, yelled out Izuku. By yourself you are. But, with me, you have purpose. I can give you what you need. Power. Izuku thought about it. By taking over the world. No, I won't let that happen. I'll fight you to the very end if I have to. Then why don't we come to an agreement? Izuku raised an eyebrow. An agreement. I need to accomplish my goals, but I can't do that if I have to fight you every time for control. Couldn't you just ditch me for someone else? Asked Izuku. Normally I would, but our compatibility is far too great to leave now. So if we cooperate, then our chances of survival increases vastly. Izuku was confused. Our chances? What do you mean? We just attacked a police officer and a hero, Izuku. We are most likely going to be wanted fugitives. Izuku's eyes widened. You son of a. This was your plan all along, wasn't it? But if I turn myself in now and explain the situation, they might understand. Do you honestly believe that? Even if they do believe you, there is still the matter of YTC, they will come for you. Face it, Izuku, without me you wouldn't last a week, explained Venom. Work with me and you might make it through this all. Taking a deep breath, Izuku composed himself. A symbiotic relationship, fine, but we are doing this my way. You want to fight crime, don't you? Questioned Venom. Izuku smiled. You really are inside my head. That's right, we'll become a vigilante and help people when we can. Will I get to eat people? Izuku hummed. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. So what do you say? Venom was silent for a second before answering. Very well, I agree. Let's become Venom. The symbiote once again covered Izuku's body. Although, I am starving. What exactly do you eat? Asked Izuku. I do not know, but if I don't start eating soon. Your organs are starting to look tasty, said Venom as he jumped to the roof of another building. All right, we'll drop by the convenience store and buy something, said Izuku. Just don't eat my organs, I need those. YTC headquarters. Kenshin was beyond angry. Getting out of the elevator, he saw several of his scientists and personal hired goons in the lab. So can anyone tell me where my property is? Asked Kenshin. Everyone in the lab froze. And no sir. We are going through the surveillance footage now, but most of the data is corrupted. Kenshin smiled. Oh, is that so? Get your stuff and leave, you're fired. Now does anyone else want to give me an answer I find inadequate? That's when one brave woman stepped up. I went over the footage and was able to pull a picture. It's blurry and doesn't show the face, but I believe this is the person who was responsible for taking it, sir. Kenshin grabbed the tablet from the woman. Send this to the other department. I want this person identified as soon as possible. Everyone nodded and quickly got to work. Kenshin looked at the image again. I will find you, and I will make you pay for stealing from me. Down at the police station, Aizawa walked down its hall with a worried look on his face. It had been a whole 2 weeks since his encounter with the villain. Making it to a conference room, he saw that other heroes were already there. "Ah, good, you're here. Now that everyone is accounted for, let's get started," said a small, white bear/mouse looking animal. "Naomasa, if you will." That's when a tall man wearing a trench coat and hat stood up. "Thanks, so let's talk about the events of 2 weeks ago." At 12:34 a mysterious creature appeared and attacked some police officers. At 12:37 the pro-hero Eraserhead arrived on the scene and engaged the villain. However, despite his best efforts, he was overpowered. According to Eraserhead, the villain was about to bite his head off but stopped suddenly. That's when Eraserhead noticed someone inside. He used his quirk to erase the villain's quirk, but it didn't work. "Is that even possible?" asked a woman with a red mask and long dark purple hair. "Normally no, even if this person had a mutant-type quirk I should have slowed them down," explained Eraserhead. "You should have seen at midnight, this guy was dangerous." "I agree, we all saw the video. If we don't catch this person soon, I can only imagine what they would do," said Nizu. "But that's not all, I may have only saw their eye but there was fear in it," said Eraserhead. "So this guy doesn't have control of himself, is that it?" asked a man with speakers around his neck. "That's a possibility, and you didn't see anything else?" questioned Naomasa. Eraserhead shook his head. The black suit the guy was wearing was completely covering him. Nizu nodded. "I see, there is also the matter of this guy's power. In all my years I've never seen anything like that. It seemed as if the guy could reshape his body into whatever he wanted. This seems like the villain you caught the other day, isn't that right, All Might?" Everyone turned to All Might, the #1 hero. "That's true, but that villain is already locked up. With the video I saw, this one seems to be a lot stronger too," explained All Might. "So what do we do from here? There haven't been any sightings of this villain for 2 weeks. He's obviously waiting till we let our guard down," said Midnight. "All we can do is wait. In the meantime, I want to ask you all to stay vigilant. If this villain shows up again, do not fight him alone. Fight in pairs, and if you need to, retreat," instructed Nizu. Everyone nodded. "So that's about it, we'll call you if this villain shows up again. I'm sure you're all quite busy with the whole UA entrance exam just around the corner," said Naomasa. "In a few short weeks the exam is set to start. I can't wait to see what type of quirks we see this year. We are set to have the most applications to the hero course in years," said Nizu with a smile. "That's great. Now if you'll excuse me, I have to fill out some paperwork." With that, Naomasa left the conference room. Eraserhead let out a sigh. "I really hate meetings like these." "Ah, don't be such a downer, Aizawa. We all know you're still shaken up after almost having your head bitten off," said Present Mike. "It wouldn't be the first time I was at death's door, and it won't be the last," said Aizawa, slightly annoyed. "Yeah, but never by threat of being bitten," said Midnight. Yeah, next time we meet it won't end up the same way," said Aizawa, getting up from his seat. "We have to find this guy soon. If he threw me around, he really is dangerous. There's no telling what he's doing right now." Beach. Izuka was not having a good time. First off, he was surrounded by trash, literal trash. Second, he just ran an entire 10 miles down the shoreline. Now out of breath and sweating, Izuka threw himself atop a broken fridge. "Tell me again, why am I doing this?" That's when Venom's face appeared in front of Izuku. "Because you are weak. Our bond may be strong but your body is weak. We need to change that to get better results. So the stronger I become, the stronger you become," asked Izuku. "Precisely, that's enough of a break, time to start lifting weights. Push that sofa, it will help build muscle. That's something you severely lack." That coming from a blob of black goo. Getting back up, Izuku began to push the sofa through the sand. Straining himself as he pushed it, Izuku finally made it to his target. Grabbing the bottom, he lifted and threw the sofa atop another pile of trash. It was now late in the afternoon, the sun was setting and it was about time to go home. With shaky legs, Izuku began to walk off the beach. "I hate you for this. You'll thank me one day. Actually, you should do it now. You haven't noticed, have you?" questioned Venom. Izuku raised an eyebrow. "Noticed what?" "You are a lot stronger already, Izuku. That sofa was a 4-seater, which weighed easily 350 pounds. Not to mention your body." "Really?" Lifting his shirt, Izuku could see the faint outline of a 6-pack. "Whoa, how? It's only been 2 weeks. I can purge any and all toxins from your body." That plus the added benefit of my enhancements, you are becoming a proper host for me. Maybe I should thank you. If it wasn't for the fact that you made us a villain. All of the local heroes are looking for us. The only reason they haven't caught us is because you said we needed to train. Said Izuku. If you had gone out to fight crime like you wanted, we would have gotten caught. Izuku tried to argue back, but deep down he knew Venom was right. Let's get home, I'm tired. Let's stop by and get some chocolate on the way. I'm starting to feel hungry. Izuku sighed, I'll never understand your chocolate craving. Making his way to the corner store, Izuku walked inside and headed straight towards the candy aisle. He grabbed a bar of Kit Kat, but Venom said it wasn't enough, so he grabbed another one. Still not enough, it was only until Izuku grabbed the entire box Venom said it would do for now. Paying for the candy was a bit awkward, who in their right mind would buy over 35 chocolate bars at a time? After paying, Izuku walked out of the store with the candy in a bag. I need to start buying these in bulk. I'll run out of money before I know it. Izuku was walking down the street when he passed an alley, when he heard something. Come on, hurry up, give us everything you got. He tried to look down the alley, but it was too dark. Hey Venom, can you see anything? I can, there are 4 people in total. 3 guys and 1 girl, and it seems the guys are trying to mug the girl. Think we can take them? Asked Izuku. Venom laughed, is that even a question? Of course we can. Izuku smirked as Venom began to cover his body, then let's do this. Dropping the bag of candy, Izuku jumped onto the roof of the building. In the alley, 3 men surrounded a young girl with dark purple hair. Is that it? Yelled out one. No, look, she still has that. One of the men pointed at the guitar case that was on the girl's back. We could sell that thing for something. The girl pressed her back against the wall. No way. No, buzz off, I already gave you everything else. That's when one of the men activated his quirk, which turned his fingers into razor-sharp knives. Do you really think you have a choice? Hand it over or you'll lose a lot more than the guitar. Reluctantly the girl began to hand over the guitar. That was a gift from my parents, no way I'll let it go so easily. Once they turn around I'll use my quirk on them. The man grabbed the guitar. I knew you'd listen to reason. The 3 men began to turn their backs on the girl. Seeing her chance, the girl began to make her move. Using earphone jacks that were connected to her earlobes, she tried to stab 2 of the men in the back. But just as they were about to reach, the man with her guitar turned around and threw his razor-sharp fingers at the girl. The knives stabbed into the wall beside the girl's face. That was a bad move. The girl gritted her teeth. That's when a cut opened up on her face and blood began to drip down. What should we do with her? Should we kill her like the others? Asked the other villain. As the finger knives guy was thinking, the girl saw something attach itself to the man and yank him up before he could even make it sound. The same thing happened to the second man. Now it was only down to the villain with the knives. I have no idea, you guys got anything? Looking to his sides, the villain saw that his 2 friends were gone. What the? Where did they go? Is there a hero here? Show yourself. The villain looked around frantically. Where did they go? He then turned to the girl. Where did they go? The purple-haired girl said nothing as a pair of white eyes appeared above the villain's head. We are here. The villain spun his head around only to be met by the large red tongue of Venom. The villain screamed out in horror as Venom grabbed him and threw him across the alley. Slamming against a wall, the guitar case dropped to the floor. Walking over, Venom towered over the now bleeding man. He then proceeded to grab the man by the neck. You look tasty, maybe a quick bite wouldn't hurt. Venom began to open its mouth. As he did, the villain activated his quirk and slashed Venom across the face. Ha, take that, you ugly looking piece of. However, as Venom turned his head back, the cuts on his skin soon began to close up. Nice try, but you'll have to do better than that. Opening his mouth once again, Venom bit down on the man's head with a loud crunching sound. With blood dripping down his mouth, Venom smiled as he savored his meal. Tasty. Now finished with his meal, Venom looked down to see the guitar case. Picking it up, he turned and began to walk toward the girl, who was terrified. Stopping in front of her, Venom presented the guitar. Here. The girl was shocked to say the least. Her hands trembled as she reached out and grabbed the case. Thanks. Venom nodded. Are you hurt? And no, I'm fine. Just shaken up, that's all. Venom then saw the blood running down the girl's face. The guitar, is it special? You were willing to fight those villains over it? Why? Questioned Venom. Yeah, it's special. It was a present from my mom and dad. They got it for my 10th birthday, explained the girl as she hugged the case. I see, well you might want to get out of here. Oh, and call the police about them, once we leave obviously. The other two are on the roof with that. Venom turned his back on the girl. Venom was about to jump away when the girl called out to him, wait. Why did you help? You're that villain that's been all over the news, so why? Stopping Venom turned his head, simple, because we wanted to. We will do whatever we want, whenever we want. And no one can stop us. Who are you? Asked the girl. We are Venom. Oh, and nice quirk. Jumping to the roof of the building, Venom left the girl and disappeared into the night. A short while later, the alley was covered with police and pro-heroes. Eraserhead arrived as the cops were taking the girl's statement. Are you sure that's what you saw? Asked an officer. The girl nodded. Yes, I'm sure of it. What's going on here? Asked Eraserhead. The other turned to the pro-hero. Kyokujiro here, says the villain that fought you. Venom, he said his name is Venom, explained Jiro. The officer blinked. Okay, Venom, apparently saved this girl from some villains who tried to mug and kill her. Eraserhead couldn't believe it. That's impossible. He attacked police officers and almost bit my head off just 2 weeks ago. Well, about that, we did find the bodies of 3 individuals. 1 here, and 2 on the roof, all with their heads bitten off. Explained the officer. Turns out that those 3 were wanted for theft, murder, kidnapping, and selling drugs. We've been looking for them for months now and could never find them. That doesn't make sense. Why would he help her and kill them? Asked Eraserhead. Why do a good deed, only to fuck it up by killing? Well sir, it's because he could. Everyone turned to Jiro. He said that he could do whatever he wanted. There was no reason why, but simply because he could. Interesting. Well, thanks for the information, Miss Jiro. We'll have one of the officers drive you home. Jiro nodded and followed an officer. Aizawa then walked down the alley and looked at the blanket over the body. In all honesty, he actually did us a favor killing these guys. But that still doesn't mean he could just go around killing criminals. Well, at least whoever this is has some sort of moral code. Let's hope they stick to it. Izuku's apartment. Jumping from a streetlight, Venom landed on the street and quickly retracted into Izuku. Now back to normal. Izuku held back the urge to throw up. What's wrong? Izuku composed himself. What's wrong? What's wrong? You just bit those guys' heads off. Yeah, what's the problem? Asked Venom. You wanted to fight crime, right? This is the way to do it, by making sure they can't do it again. But that's murder. Said Izuku. You call it murder, I call it problem solving. In case you didn't hear, they were about to kill the girl. Without me, they would have. Izuku stayed silent. It's still wrong. Grow up. In the short time I've been on this planet, you humans kill each other left and right. What's the difference when I do it? Again Izuku stayed silent. That's what I thought. We saved that girl, so take pride in that. With nothing to say, Izuku walked towards his apartment door and went straight to sleep. A few days later. It was the last week of school, so that meant class let out earlier than usual. Izuku tried to avoid Bakugo, but there was no escaping him. Bakugo cornered him as he tried to walk out of the class. Where do you think you're going, Deku? Asked Bakugo. Izuku stood in front of Bakugo. None of your business. Now get out of my way. That surprised Bakugo. Izuku never talked back to him in that tone before. Oh? Did you finally grow some balls, Deku? Think you're better than me, is that it? Izuku scoffed. Fuck off. Walking past Bakugo, Izuku bumped his shoulder, pushing him out of the way. Turning around, Bakugo grabbed Izuku's shoulder. You got a death wish? Turning around, Izuku glared at Bakugo. And no, don't. We can't, not here, not him. Bakugo raised an eyebrow. What are you talking about, Deku? Finally lost your mind? Izuku gritted his teeth. Stop. No, I don't want to do this. No, you do want to do this. You've been wanting to do this for a long time. He's hurt you, Izuku, broken you down, called you names, and you did nothing. Well, not anymore, not with me here. Izuku tried to fight against Venom. He tried to stop him from harming Bakugo. But it was Bakugo's own actions that led to this. As Bakugo grabbed Izuku's shoulder, he let out a small explosion. Normally it would burn his clothes, but Venom hated it. That's when Izuku's eyes and teeth turned into that of Venom's. Struck with fear, Bakugo stumbled back and fell to the floor. Venom snarled, but Izuku quickly regained control over himself. I told you to stop. Why don't you listen? Izuku then turned to Bakugo. Sorry Kakan, I have to go. Izuku ran, he ran, and ran, not home but somewhere he thought no one would find him, the beach. Making it to the beach he sat down on one of the benches as sweat began to pour down his head. You've been harder to deal with these last couple of days, why? Asked Izuku. It's the hunger, ever since I took a bite out of those men I've been wanting more. But you don't let me. Izuku grabbed his head, I already told you that won't happen again. But I crave it. The chocolate helps but there's nothing better than getting it from the source, explained Venom. As Izuku was arguing with Venom, someone approached him. Hey, you alright? Looking up, Izuku saw the purple-haired girl from a few days ago. She's that girl we saved. Why yeah, I'm fine, just got a headache that's all, said Izuku, giving the girl a half-smile. You're sweating like crazy though. Are you sure you're alright? Asked Jiro. Izuku nodded. Yeah, my blood sugar levels just dropped. I'll be fine in a bit. That's when Jiro hummed, wait here. Huh? Why? I said I'll be fine, said Izuku. But you aren't fine now, just wait here. I'll be back in a second. Izuku watched as Jiro ran towards a convenience store. After a minute she walked out with a bag. Reaching inside the bag she pulled out an energy drink. Here, take it, it will help with your sugar levels. Izuku reluctantly grabbed the drink. Thanks. Opening the bottle, Jiro watched Izuku chug it down in seconds. Jiro blinked a couple of times. Whoa, I've never seen someone down it like that. Guess I was thirsty too. Thank you for the drink. I never asked your name, said Izuku, scratching his head. Oh, Kyoka Jiro. Well Jiro, thanks for the drink. The name is Izuku Midoriya. So, how much do I owe you for the drink? Asked Izuku as he reached for his wallet. But before he could pull out any money she shook her head. It's fine, don't worry about it. But I have to pay you back somehow. Izuku thought about it. How about I buy you something? It's fine really, I'm fine knowing that I helped someone is enough, explained Jiro. Izuku smiled, you sound like a hero. But seriously, if I don't pay you back I'll feel bad. How about I buy you something? How does takoyaki sound? There's a little shop not that far from here. Jiro looked at Izuku, she could tell by the look on his face that he wasn't going to let it go. Thanks but it's... However, before Jiro could say anything else her stomach began to growl. Jiro blushed and Izuku tried to hide his snickers. Your stomach is saying otherwise, come on let's go. The two then walked down the street until they eventually came upon the shop. Izuku ordered two. After paying and grabbing their food they walked over to a bench. They each took a bite of their food. Wow, this is really good, said Jiro. I know right. Not that many know about this little shop. I found it here while I was training, explained Izuku. Training? Training for what? Asked Jiro. Izuku stopped. Oh you know, I just want to keep myself healthy. I go down to the beach that's filled with trash and clean it up. Wait, at that landfill? You clean that? Asked Jiro, surprised. Izuku nodded. Yeah, it helps build muscle and endurance. She didn't want to admit it but Jiro found herself looking at Izuku's shirt and noticed it was a bit tight. That's impressive, all that to improve your quirk. It must be pretty cool if you want to train it. Jiro looked over at Izuku as she took a bite of her food. She immediately knew she messed up. Izuku rubbed the back of his head. I actually don't have a quirk. Jiro's eyes widened. Sorry, I didn't mean to. However, Izuku shook his head. It's fine, you didn't know. Besides, I don't mind it anymore. The two then sat in silence for a while. Come on Izuku, you just made this awkward. I know. But this is my first time actually talking to a girl. What am I supposed to do? Think of something, anything. Izuku took a deep breath. So, what's your quirk? Really? That's the best you can come up with? Actually, it is. Wow, that was just pathetic. That coming from an alien blob, I panicked alright. Now shut up. It's a little obvious but you see these earphone jacks, I can use them to plug them into walls and other stuff to hear things others can't, or channel my heartbeat through them for attacks. Oh, and I can extend them for a longer range. My hearing is also better than most too, explained Jiro as she wiggled her jacks around. That's cool, so your quirk is sound-based. Izuku then felt Venom squirm around. What the hell was that? It's nothing, don't worry about it. Izuku ignored Venom. So are you planning to be a hero or something? Jiro nodded. Yeah, I'm applying for the hero course at UA. With that quirk, I'm sure you'll get in, said Izuku. You think so? Asked Jiro. Izuku nodded, of course. You'd be perfect for rescue operations. Jiro played with her earphone jacks. I guess I never thought of it like that. Thanks Midoriya. Izuku blushed slightly, and no problem. After finishing their food the two sat around talking about school and just got to know each other a bit more. Izuku however was surprised, he was actually talking to a girl. Jiro was also surprised that she found talking to Izuku so easy. After about an hour and a half of talking Jiro got a text message. Looking at her phone her eyes widened. Oh crap, it's my dad. Sorry about this Midoriya, but I have to go. The two stood up from the bench. It's fine, well it was nice meeting you Jiro. Why are you saying that like it's the last time we'll see each other? Asked Jiro. Izuku was surprised to say the least. You still want to hang out? Jiro nodded. Yeah, I don't know why but you are really easy to talk to. Here, give me your phone. Izuku quickly reached into his pocket and handed over his phone. Jiro fumbled around and then handed Izuku back his phone. There you go. Looking down at the phone Izuku noticed that he had a new contact. I'll text you later. Thanks for the food, bye. With that Jiro ran towards the train station. Izuku stood there shocked. Nice, you got a girl's number, said Venom. Why yeah, well I guess today wasn't so bad, said Izuku as he walked back home. You are welcome. For what? Asked Izuku. For stopping you from making a fool out of yourself. Once you saw the girl your heart rate shot up, but I calmed it. So you are welcome. I didn't need your help with that. I could have talked to her without your help, said Izuku. Right, with your track record. But I do find it strange though, during your conversation you began to produce more oxytocin. What's oxytocin? Asked Izuku. It's a hormone your body produces, it's also called the love hormone. Do you like this girl Izuku? Asked Venom. Izuku turned red. What? I just met her, are you crazy? It was just a question, no need to yell. Composing himself Izuku took a deep breath. I wouldn't say I like her, but she did seem cute. Doesn't matter, hey I've been thinking, let's go out and look for some villains to beat up. That sounds like a good idea. Will I get to eat someone? Asked Venom. No, now stop asking, said Izuku, slightly annoyed. However Venom would get what he wanted, he always did. Later that night. Making sure his mother was asleep Izuku opened the window to his room. Alright, let's do this. Jumping from the window Izuku began to fall. As he fell Venom began to appear, now fully covering him. Using his own version of Eraserhead's capture weapons Venom swinged from building to building. Making it to the downtown district Venom stopped atop of a building. I didn't get to see it last time, but this city is quite beautiful. The view never gets old, does it? You should see the stars out in the mountains. It's even better than here. Maybe one day we'll go, said Izuku. As Venom admired the scenery the sound of car screeching was heard. Looking down Venom saw an out-of-control car avoid people. Should we step in? Asked Venom. Of course. Come let's go help before anyone gets hurt. Letting out a roar Venom jumped from the roof of the building. Down below the heroes were trying their best to catch up to the runaway car. We need a speedster, there's no way we'll catch up to them, yelled out one of the heroes. No time, by the time they get here that car would have crashed into a wall. We need to stop it now, ordered another hero. However as the two were chasing something shot past them. What the hell was that? The man inside the car was desperately trying to avoid the pedestrians, out of the way. But he knew it was only a matter of time before he would either hit a wall or a person. Damn it, damn it, damn it. Heading towards the direction of a store the man braced for impact. He felt the car stop suddenly but no crash. Opening his eyes, he was surprised to see the ground. What's going on? That's when the car began to lower. The man's eyes widened as standing in front of the car was Venom. I got you. Turn off the car. Setting the car down Venom turned to the man. Are you hurt? The man shook his head. Good, well see you later. Just like that Venom once again jumped away from the scene. The heroes that were chasing them were close enough to see that it was Venom but he left before they could ask him some questions. See, that wasn't so bad. Helping people and all, said Izuku as Venom was swinging from building to building. I rather eat someone's head. However as Venom was looking for someone else to help he was suddenly hit in the face, which sent him crashing down to the ground. What the hell was that? Yelled out Venom as he picked himself up. That's when 3 people landed around him. So the report was right, said Midnight. So this is Venom. He's one ugly-looking guy, said Present Mike. That's a bit harsh. Thought both Izuku and Venom. Not now, you two. Focus on him, we won't let him get away, said Eraserhead as he readied his capture weapon. Venom looked around. We would advise you to leave. Sorry, not our style. We can't let a villain like you run wild, said Midnight. We can do whatever we want, said Venom. Not anymore. Midnight, knock him out, ordered Eraserhead. Midnight then reached for her costume and ripped a piece off, allowing a purple gas to escape. The gas hit Venom, causing him to screech. What is this? That's when Izuku noticed who these heroes were. Venom, we need to get out of here. That's Midnight, she can put anyone to sleep with her gas, and we just got hit with it. That's when the effects of Midnight's quirk began to take effect. Venom began to feel sleepy, the strength in his legs began to falter as the gas coursed through Izuku's body. Falling to his knees, it looked as if the three heroes had done it. Good, now let's restrain him, but just as they were moving in, Venom slammed his massive fist into the ground. The three heroes watched as Venom began to throw up what appeared to be green liquid. Standing up, Venom pointed at Midnight. You just made the biggest mistake of your life. Faster than Midnight could react, Venom launched himself at her and grabbed her by the neck. Lifting her up off the ground, Venom roared. Terror filled the hero's face as Venom's tongue slid across her face. Mike, use your quirk, ordered Eraserhead. I can't, I'll hit Midnight. We need to separate them first, said Present Mike. With no other option, Eraserhead jumped into the air. Using his capture weapon, Eraserhead managed to wrap it around Midnight and yank her out of the way. Now Mike, do it now. Present Mike smiled. Finally, time to crank up the music. Venom turned only to be hit by a massive sound attack. Screeching in pain, Venom covered his ears. Falling to his knees, the black goo surrounding Izuku began to peel off, exposing him. Eraserhead's eyes widened. Stop, Mike. Turning off his quirk, the sound waves stopped hitting Izuku. It's a kid, asked Midnight. Seems that way. Hey kid, you alright? Asked Eraserhead as he approached the boy. With his back turned to the heroes, Izuku began to mutter as he looked at his arms. No, where did you go? Come on, you can't do this, not now. I need you, without you, I have nothing. Present Mike was the first to reach Izuku. He tried to reach out to console the kid. Hey, it's okay, we are here to help. But that's when something appeared from Izuku's back and attached itself to Mick's neck. Izuku began to laugh. I knew you wouldn't leave us. It started off as a small black smudge, but soon Venom began to cover Izuku's back before appearing and covering his entire body once again. Turning around, Venom had his hand around Mick's neck. Of course, we will never leave you. We are one, we are Venom. Tightening his grip, Venom crushed Present Mick's windpipe and then tossed him aside. Venom then focused on Midnight. Throwing his arm forward, a large black blob extended out and hit Midnight, sending her flying towards a wall. Midnight hit the wall with so much force that she was knocked out as a result. You bastard, yelled out Eraserhead as he pulled out his knife and stabbed Venom in the chest. Venom simply looked down at the knife and pulled it out. I am possible, what are you? Raising the knife, Venom took a bite out the metal before eating the rest. Your worst nightmare. Transforming his hand into a giant spike, Venom stabbed Eraserhead in the shoulder. With blood gushing down the wound, Venom pulled out the spike. Let that be a warning, leave us alone. Next time we won't be so merciful. Wait. Let the boy go, you have him under your control, right? Let him go and we'll leave you alone, said Eraserhead. Venom didn't even turn around. The boy chose this. We became one that people won't ignore any longer. One that people won't ignore? What is he talking about? Thought Eraserhead. Is this about revenge? This isn't the way, kid, you can find another path. It's not about revenge, we have a mission to accomplish and we are going to do it. Follow us, and you die. The boy doesn't wish to kill, but we will do what we must in order to survive. With that, Venom jumped into the sky and disappeared into the darkness. With the threat gone, Eraserhead went to check on Present Mike. Good, he's still breathing, but we need to get him to a hospital soon. With his good arm, Eraserhead touched his communication device in his ear. All Might, do you copy? We are down and need help. Within seconds, All Might appeared. Don't worry, hero friends, for I am here. He said with pride. But his pride soon turned to shock when he saw his injured friends. What happened here? Eraserhead managed to use a piece of clothing to put pressure on his wound. Venom happened. But forget that, Mike needs a hospital. His windpipe was crushed. Midnight is over there knocked out but alive. Take them first, I'll be fine here. All Might nodded, I'll be right back. With the first attempt at catching Venom a complete failure, the heroes went back to the drawing board. But this time they found out something about this new villain. They found a way to hurt it. Sneaking back into his room, Izuku sat on the edge of his bed. Did they see me? No, they didn't see your face. Count us lucky that they didn't, said Venom, appearing in front of Izuku. Lucky, huh? You call almost killing 3 pro heroes lucky? This night couldn't have gone any worse, said Izuku, laying down on the bed. Actually, it could have gone worse. We could have killed them, or you could have lost us. And we both know you don't want that. Without us you are nothing, explained Venom. Not helping. But you're right, for a second I thought I lost you. In that moment I felt so useless, so weak, but then you came back. I could feel the power coming back to me, it felt amazing, said Izuku as he reached for his phone. He noticed that he had a new message. Clicking on the notification, he saw that it was Jiro. Maybe the night wasn't that bad. YTC headquarters. Kenshin sat on his chair with a tablet in his hands. On it the video of Izuku swinging around the city was playing. Remarkable, this person is perfectly fused with the alien. Super strength, speed, and endurance, it's simply amazing. I need the suit back no matter what. Kenshin then pressed a button on his desk. Yes, Mr. Yayorozu, answered an assistant. Have the men double the search effort, and get me everything the heroes have on this Venom guy, ordered Kenshin. Yes sir, it shall be done. Kenshin then turned his chair and stared out his glass window that overlooked the city. Soon that power will be mine, and then no one will be able to stop me. This city, no, this country will be mine. Aizawa was pissed off. Looking through the glass of a hospital room, he saw his best friends Midnight and Present Mike laying there in hospital beds. A whole week had gone by and he still blamed one person. Damn you, Venom. We'll find him, Aizawa, said a small voice. Looking down, Aizawa saw Niza walking over to him along with All Might. I sure hope so, said Aizawa. Can you tell us anything about this Venom guy? Asked All Might. For starters, the person underneath was a boy, not more than 14 years old, explained Aizawa. Niza was surprised, so young, and with such a dangerous power. Aizawa nodded. That's not all, this power, it's different somehow. At first I thought the boy was under someone's control, but it turns out he's not. What do you mean? Asked All Might. The black suit around him, it's almost as if it's sentient. Whatever it is, it has attached itself to the kid, said Aizawa. When Mike hit him with his sound blast, it temporarily debonded and it looked like it hurt him. Nizu hummed, so sound is its weakness? That could be difficult to exploit, but we'll find a way. Anything else you can tell us about the boy? He did say something before he mopped the floor with us. It seemed as if the kid thought he lost the suit and began to panic. I didn't hear much, but he said something about being useless without it, said Aizawa. Useless? But no one is useless. Why would he think that way? Asked Nizu. Regardless, All Might, with the others down, I'm calling on you to stop him. All Might nodded. Leave it to me. I'll bring in the boy. I'm going with you. Once my shoulder is healed by Recovery Girl, I'll join you. She should be here in the afternoon, said Aizawa as he raised his bandaged up arm. Very well, I in the meantime will see if any other heroes can help, said Nizu. With Izuku. Izuku was getting stronger, and he started to notice. His shirts fit a bit tighter, especially around his arms. He also noticed that he grew a bit taller. Hey Venom, so what exactly are you? You're an alien, right? Asked Izuku as he did push-ups. You can call us that, but in my eyes you are the alien, responded Venom. So I guess we really aren't alone in this universe. Getting up, Izuku took off his shirt and wiped away the sweat. Man, 200 push-ups is no joke. But I can't argue with the results. It is for our benefit. The stronger you become, the stronger I become. Izuku rolled his eyes. Suddenly Venom sensed someone coming. Get ready, someone is coming. Izuku's head turned towards the land. He readied himself for whoever this was. Is it a hero? Asked Izuku. I don't know, be on your guard, ordered Venom. Standing firm, Izuku put his fists out. That's when the person turned the corner. Man, what is up with all this trash? Why do people do this? Said Jiro. Wait, Jiro? What are you doing here? Asked Izuku. Jiro dusted herself off. So you really are here? I figured since you told me you trained here, I'd come to see. That's when Jiro looked up to see Izuku shirtless. Turning red, Jiro covered her eyes. Why are you naked? Izuku relaxed seeing it was someone he knew. I'm not naked, I have pants on. Argued Izuku. Just put your shirt back on. Said Jiro, still not looking at Izuku. Sighing, Izuku grabbed his shirt and began to put it on. Jiro could hear him rustling around and through her hands she got a quick peek. Whoa, he's got a nice body. He looks small but he has a lot of muscle. That's when Jiro noticed that she was staring and quickly shut her eyes. Come on Kyoka. You barely know the guy and you're staring. Alright, happy now? Asked Izuku. Jiro removed her hands to see that Izuku now had on a shirt. Better. So anyway you really are cleaning/training here. I thought you were joking. Said Jiro as she looked around and noticed that she was in a large cleaned area that went down to the water. Izuku nodded. Yeah, I'm still nowhere done though. So what's up? I thought we had plans for tomorrow. During the week of the incident with the heroes Izuku and Jiro had gotten closer. They weren't close, but they were friends. The two talked for hours on the phone, which pissed off Venom. I know, I was in the area and wanted to see if you were actually training here. Which I can see you are. Said Jiro. I'm hurt Jiro, you think I'd lie to you? Asked Izuku as he faked crying. Jiro rolled her eyes. Oh shut up, look since I'm here, want to hit up the mall? I heard they are having a special on some merchandise from a band I like. Sure, let me just wash off this sweat and change. Give me 5 minutes, I'll be right back. Jiro nodded. Izuku went over to the small building on the nicer beach and used the shower room. Conveniently there was also a locker room so Izuku threw his bag along with his dirty clothes in it to pick up later. 5 minutes later Izuku got out all changed and ready to go. He had on a black shirt, blue jeans, and with his hair a mess. Jiro looked at Izuku and snickered. What? Asked Izuku confused. It's your hair, you look like a damp piece of seaweed. Said Jiro holding back the urge to burst out laughing. Oh that's the perfect nickname for you. Please don't. Said Izuku. Jiro smirked. Nope. Too late, let's go seaweed. I swear, you secretly hate me don't you? Asked Izuku. Nah, you're actually a really cool dude. Enough of that, let's go. The two then walked towards the station. After a few stops the two got off and walked towards the mall. The two walked side by side talking about school until they reached the store Jiro was talking about. Once inside Izuku was surprised to see so many guitars. Whoa. First time in this store? Asked Jiro. Izuku nodded. Yeah, I've always walked by it but never went inside. I didn't know there were so many types. Yeah, there are 3 main ones. You got your classical, acoustic, and electric. And those branch out into their own sub-varieties. Different body shape, string, and sound. Explained Jiro. Izuku nodded. So which ones do you know how to play? Jiro rubbed the back of her head shyly. I actually know them all. My parents are musicians so they have taught me since I was little. Not to mention the others. Izuku was surprised. Others? Okay now you're just showing off. I can barely play the recorder, but I do perform a mean hot cross buns. Jiro laughed. I'd like to see that. I'd rather see you play though. Maybe sometime you can show me. Asked Izuku. Sure, heck, I'll even show you how to play. That is, if you're up for it. Asked Jiro with a smug look on her face. Izuku raised an eyebrow. Is that a challenge Jiro? Cause I never back away from a challenge. Let's let your actions do the talking for you. Get a guitar and I'll teach you. Said Jiro. Izuku, there was one of those things at the beach, said Venom. There was? Huh, guess I missed it. I'll go get it later. Izuku and Jiro would spend the better part of that afternoon walking around the mall. After a while the two got hungry and went to the food court to eat. Izuku ordered a hamburger, and Jiro got some ramen. As the two waited for their food they sat down at some tables. So how's the prep work for you? Asked Izuku. Fine I guess, the entrance exam is in a few days so there's that. I'm still a bit nervous, I'm confident in most things but this is different. There's going to be a lot of people trying to get in. Said Jiro, sighing. You'll do just fine, trust me. I've known you for a bit now and I can already tell you won't go down without a fight. Jiro smiled at Izuku's comment. Thanks Midoriya, and yeah you're right. I'll kick everyone's ass in the entrance exam. Izuku liked seeing Jiro happy. However, their happiness would quickly turn into shock when out of nowhere the ground began to shake violently. Izuku and Jiro held onto the table to keep themselves from falling. What's going on? An earthquake? Asked Jiro. Izuku looked around and noticed people running past the store. The shaking stopped. We should get out of here. That wasn't an earthquake. Something or someone caused this, and I'm not going to stick around to find out. The two then ran out of the store and headed towards the exit, but as they were just about to leave they heard the clicking of guns. Appearing in front of them, two men with assault rifles appeared. Where do you guys think you're going? The mall doesn't close for another couple of hours. Stick around and follow us, said one of the men. Izuku narrowed his eyes. Should I eat their brains? Asked Venom. No, if we do anything right now they might hurt Jiro. For now let's do what they want. You'll get your chance, thought Izuku as he put up his hands. Jiro did the same. Good, now head towards the food court. The boss is waiting for us. Izuku and Jiro were then escorted to the food court where they found several dozen people and about 10 men with guns pointed at them. Shoving the weapon in Izuku's back, the two were forced to sit on the ground in a row near the wall. You alright, Jiro? Asked Izuku. Jiro nodded. Yeah, I'm good. Who are these guys? Terrorists most likely, and I think that guy is their boss. Izuku motioned towards the direction of a tall man. He wore black pants, a sleeveless shirt, and had markings on his arms that resembled ripples. The boss looked at the captive people. Good, now half of you guard the entrances. The rest of you stay here. If anyone moves, kill them. The hostages gasped as they heard the last part. Within 10 minutes the police and heroes had the entire mall surrounded and were now waiting for the demands. Thanks to Jiro's enhanced hearing, she could hear everything and was repeating it to Izuku. It seems like they are part of some weird organization, something about a mythological creature, the one with the 3 heads. Izuku thought about it. A hydra? What are their demands? Jiro nodded. Yeah, that one. They want to send a message. That's when Jiro heard something that shocked her. Jiro? What is it? What did they say? Asked Izuku. Jiro turned to Izuku. They're going to start shooting every third person. Izuku's eyes widened, and just as Jiro said that, the men began to grab every third person. Men, women, and children were all selected. As the minions were coming down the line, both Izuku and Venom noticed something. Izuku, the count. I know. Izuku then turned to Jiro. Do you trust me? Jiro raised an eyebrow. Huh? Now is not the time for this, Midoriya. Do you trust me? Asked Izuku once again. Jiro thought about it before ultimately nodding. Yes. Good, sorry about this. Izuku then grabbed Jiro and switched spots with her. Before Jiro could say anything, one of the men pointed their gun at Izuku. Get up, and don't try anything stupid, ordered the man. Izuku stood up. Walk with the others. Jiro was shocked. Midoriya, wait. Jiro tried to grab Izuku, but as she did, the minion hit her with the butt of his rifle, knocking her back down to the floor. The minion then pointed his rifle to Jiro's head. Stay down, bitch, unless you want to die right here. That's when Izuku stepped in between the two. Hey, you already got me, don't touch her. Blood ran down Jiro's face. Midoriya, you can't. It's going to be fine, trust me. I still need those guitar lessons. With that, Izuku was taken away. Jiro watched in horror. Izuku, along with the others chosen, were taken into a storage room where they were lined up against a wall by 2 men. The room was small and the only source of light was a single light bulb hanging from the ceiling. Boss wants us back, so let's get this done. Both men then readied their weapons. Venom, you see the electrical outlet by my feet. Can you get inside and take out the lights? Easy. So, will I get to eat these guys? Asked Venom. Izuku smirked. Oh yeah. The men then pointed their guns at the first person in line. For our dreams, he yelled out. However, just as he was about to squeeze the trigger, the light bulb suddenly went black before breaking. The men looked up. Who turned out the lights? One of them asked. Go now, run, ordered a voice through the blackness. The hostages all quickly scampered towards the door. Bursting through the door, light from the outside shined through. That's when the men saw him. Towering above them was Venom. What the hell is that thing? Struck with fear, both men began to open fire. The bullets hit Venom in the chest but did nothing. After emptying their guns, Venom looked down at his torso, which was riddled with holes. That tickled. Flexing, Venom fixed all the damage on his chest. The men tried to scream, only to have their mouths covered by black goo. SHHHH, I don't like it when my food screams. I can't savor the flavors then. With tears running down their faces and muffled screams, the men could do nothing as Venom opened its mouth, revealing his razor-sharp teeth. Loud crunching noises were heard as Venom bit the heads off the men clean off and began to feast on their organs. Now this is a good appetizer. Let's get you the main course then, said Izuku. With blood dripping down its claws, Venom smiled. It's lunch time. Outside in the food court, Jiro flinched when she heard the sound of gunfire. And no, Midoriya. Outside the mall. Police and heroes were on edge. The demands of the leader were outrageous. How many hostages are we dealing with? Asked Eraserhead, standing around a large table which had a map of the mall. With the security cameras down, we can't be sure, but at least a couple dozen, maybe more, said the SWAT commander. Quirks? Asked All Might. Unknown. Reports say that the entire mall shook before the men took it over. We might be dealing with some sort of earthquake quirk. Luckily, we came up with a plan. The main entrances are guarded, but our radar suggests that the entrances on the roof are unguarded. Here and here. So what's the plan? I can't exactly fit into a vent, you know, said All Might. We have something for you. While we get in through the roof, you All Might will. However, as the commander was explaining his plan, another officer walked in. What do you want? Can't you see we are in the middle of a meeting? The officer was out of breath and could barely get the words out. Shots fired. Shots have been fired inside the mall. Casualties likely. Shit, alright, forget the plan. We are switching to search and destroy. Go in and take out any assailant you see. Our first priority is the civilians, heroes. Once we are inside, make your way towards them. They are locked in the food court, we'll deal with the rest, said the commander. Everyone nodded. Let's get to work then. All Might was the first one to run inside. With his fist pulled back, he knocked down the door to the mall. Go on ahead, All Might, we'll be right behind you, yelled out Aizawa. All Might nodded. Right. Be safe. Crouching down, All Might took off, leaving the rest behind. Zigzagging his way through the mall, he eventually found the hostages that Venom freed running away from the food court. Is everyone alright? We are fine, but the others? They have a lot more in the food court, said one of the hostages. Within seconds, All Might made it to the food court, where he found something that shocked him. Standing in front of all the hostages was Venom and several dead men with guns. Get away from them. Texas smash. Turning around, Venom was met by All Might's massive fist. The hit was so hard that it sent Venom across the food court and into one of the stores. Wait, All Might, he was helping us. That's the real villain, pointed out Jiro. All Might stopped. What? He was helping you? But he's a villain. All of the hostages agreed. She's right. Venom was helping us. He even saved us from getting shot. Now All Might was even more confused. Man, you hit hard. Next time try talking first. Looking up, All Might saw Venom crawling on the ceiling. Dropping down, he stared at the number one hero. What is your goal here, Venom? Asked All Might. Venom smiled. Easy, hero, I'm not here to fight you. I was just caught up in this. These guys took some hostages and I got rid of them. Well, all for that guy, he's the boss. I was about to take him down when you rudely interrupted me. Now tell me, do you really want to fight both of us, or save these people? All Might narrowed his eyes. I want to save these people. Good, then let's get rid of him. The two then turned towards the villain. Why, you killed my men, ruined my plan. The villain looked at Venom with rage in his eyes. You took everything from me. Venom pointed at the villain. Tough luck, now stay there while I eat you. Venom then ran towards the villain. All Might tried to stop him, but it was already too late. Clenching his fist, the markings around the villain's arm began to glow with power. Slamming his fists onto the floor, a massive shockwave shook the entire mall once again. The ground around the villain began to protrude outward, sending pieces of the very earth itself hurtling towards Venom. Venom easily punched the small rocks, but as he was punching the small ones, a rock the size of a large truck came in and hit Venom across the face. All Might shielded the civilians from the pieces that Venom missed. Venom, don't just go rushing in like that. You're putting everyone in danger. Venom jumped back. Damn it, what do you suggest we do then? Looking around, All Might noticed that the villain's power was coming from his arms. He then looked to his right and noticed a fire extinguisher. Picking it up, he tossed it to Venom. Throw this at him. Confused, Venom looked at the extinguisher. Just do it. Grabbing it like a football, Venom threw it right at the villain. At the same time All Might pulled back his fist, Detroit Smash. Throwing his fist forward, All Might created a large gust of wind. The wind pressure was so strong that once it hit the extinguisher it popped, causing white smoke to fill the area. The villain stopped his quirk. "What is this?" "Do it now, Venom!" yelled out All Might. Without hesitation Venom ran through the smoke. The villain looked around frantically. "Where are you?" That's when Venom dropped from the ceiling in front of the villain. "Here." The markings on the villain began to glow. He tried to reach out to touch Venom, but Venom grabbed his arms and crushed the bones. Pieces of bone popped out of his skin as the villain fell to the floor screaming out in agony. As the smoke cleared, All Might saw Venom standing over the villain. "You didn't kill him, good. We need him alive to answer questions." "I would have killed him, but there's been enough of that already. I've had my fill," said Venom, turning away. "Well, that's all you'll get from me. Remember, this was a one-time thing, don't expect us to help you again. The next time we meet you'll end up like him." As Venom was walking away he felt someone grab his shoulder. "Sorry Venom, but you can't leave. You have your own crimes to pay for. You may have helped me now, but that doesn't excuse your actions." Venom turned his head. "Do you really want to do this, hero?" All Might nodded. "I am a hero, I will do what I must." Venom smirked. "And so will we." Turning around fast, Venom punched All Might across the face, sending him flying across the food court. Slamming against a pillar, All Might held his jaw. "That hurt." "Stay down, All Might, we don't want to hurt you." "But we will if we must," threatened Venom. All Might stood up slowly. "It's not a matter of if, but want. One way or another you are coming with me. And I already know your weakness." "Shit, Venom, look out, he's going to throw a punch," warned Izuku. Venom jumped back to avoid the hit, but his eyes widened when he saw that All Might didn't clench his fist. That's when Izuku put two and two together. "No. If he does that, inside the entire mall will come crumbling down. Don't do it. You'll bring this whole place down," yelled out Venom. But it was already too late. The number one hero brought his hands together. Thunder, clap. Clapping his hands together, All Might created a massive shock wave of pure sound. The sound wave hit Venom dead on. The symbiote screeched in pain as it began to peel off of Izuku. The attack was effective in taking down Venom, but it also kicked up a lot of dust. Falling to his knees, Izuku still had some of the symbiote on him, but it was just barely strings. "Damn it. It's over, Venom, your reign of terror ends now." "Where are you?" yelled All Might through the smoke. As the hero walked through the smoke he heard cracking coming from the ceiling. Looking up he noticed that and recognized that he just messed up. Oh no, that's what Venom meant. Turning around, All Might saw the screaming hostages running for their lives as the ceiling began to come crashing down around them. Rushing into action, All Might grabbed as many people as he could. However, he still couldn't get them all. He had to drop the others off and come back for more. Jiro was one of the people who was running, but as she was running she heard the sound of someone falling. Looking back she noticed that it was a small child. Turning around, Jiro grabbed the child with her earphone jack. "It's fine, I got you." With the child now in her arms, Jiro ran towards the exit as debris fell around her. However, just as she was about to be in the clear, a giant piece of the ceiling came crashing down. Jiro's eyes widened as she looked up and saw the piece come down. "We are going to get crushed. No, I won't let this kid die like this." With all the strength she had, Jiro tossed the child forward just as the piece fell on top of her. Jiro expected to feel a lot of pain, but to her surprise, she didn't. Opening her eyes, Jiro was surprised to see someone standing in front of her. That was really brave of you." Jiro could only see the person's back but noticed black strings on their body. Grunting, the person lifted and threw the large ceiling piece. That voice, it couldn't be right, she questioned as the person turned around. Thanks to the smoke she couldn't see their face but saw a gleam of green in their eyes. "Now go, grab the kid and go, it's not safe for you here." Without saying a word, Jiro nodded and got to safety. Izuku watched as Jiro left. "You there, Venom?" That was loud. "We can't take another hit like that, if we do we'll die. I suggest we leave." "I agree, but we can't just leave unscratched, we have to make it seem like we were injured somehow," argued Izuku. Venom thought about it. "I have an idea, but it's going to hurt." "Don't worry, I can heal you later, you up for it?" "What do you have in mind?" asked Izuku. By the end of it all, a majority of the mall was either collapsed or damaged. Heroes from all over Japan came in to help with the damage. They found people still trapped under rocks, which included Izuku, who had to make it seem that he was hurt, so Venom's bright idea was to slam a rock on Izuku's head just enough to draw blood and make it seem that he was knocked out. Izuku would be rescued a short while later. They took Izuku to where the other hostages were being treated. Once there, we awoke and had his arm and head bandaged up. "All right, you should be all healed up in a few days. Your mother has already been contacted, please wait for her here," instructed one of the paramedics. Izuku nodded as they put his arm in a sling. Getting up, he began to look around at the people being treated. "Man, those guys did a lot of damage. It could have been worse, we saved more people than we hurt. Remember that." Izuku smiled. "But you should really take care of the other thing for now." Izuku raised an eyebrow. "What other thing?" That's when Venom turned Izuku's head. "Uh-oh." Looking right at him was a very angry Jiro. "Wait, Jiro, let me explain." However, before he could, Jiro wrapped him in a hug. "You idiot. Why did you switch places?" She then stabbed one of her jacks into his sides. "I thought I lost you. When they took you, I heard a gunshot and I thought." Izuku smiled and wrapped his good arm around the girl. "Sorry, Jiro, I didn't mean to worry you. Can you please remove that jack, it kind of hurts." Jiro tightened her grip on Izuku. "Not yet, I just want to hear your heartbeat for a bit longer." Izuku felt his heart flutter. "You hear it right? It's still beating, I'm fine." Jiro felt her emotions calm with every beat of Izuku's heart. He was alive, he wasn't a ghost, or a zombie, it was him. "Izuku, your oxytocin levels are spiking again," teased Venom. "Shut up and let me have this," growled Izuku inside his mind. After a minute, Jiro finally let go of Izuku. "Better?" Jiro nodded. "Yeah, better." "Good, so that was an eventful day, wasn't it?" asked Izuku. Jiro laughed. "Yeah, it was, let's not do that again anytime soon." Izuku shrugged. "No promises." As the two were waiting around for their parents to show up, someone called out to Izuku, "Excuse me, young man, but can I have a word?" Izuku turned around to find Naomasa standing in front of him. "What do you need, officer?" asked Izuku. "Well, we are getting everyone's statements on what happened. From what the others have told us, you along with a few others were taken to the back to be killed, and yet here you are." "What happened?" asked Naomasa. Jiro was also curious about that. "Oh, that, well, when they took us to the back room, that Venom guy showed up and saved us." Naomasa wrote that down. "Really?" Izuku nodded. "The lights went out and out of nowhere Venom appeared and killed the men. We are lucky he showed up. If he would have showed up even a second later, we would have died." "I see, I assume you didn't get a good look at who it was." Naomasa then activated his quirk. "No, it was too dark," responded Izuku. Half-truth. Naomasa then closed his notebook. "Thank you for your testimony. If we need anything else, we will contact you." Izuku nodded. "Anytime." "How long until your arms heals?" asked Jiro. "The medic said it should be fine in a few days, but I get the feeling it will be fine sooner than that," explained Izuku. "Oh, that's good. I actually wanted to ask you something," said Jiro as she nervously played with her earphone jacks. "Oh, sure, what's up?" asked Izuku. "Are you?" However, before Jiro could finish the question, someone called out to her. "Kyoka. My baby girl, where are you?" Turning around, Jiro looked through the crowd to see her parents. "I should go, those are my parents," said Jiro. Izuku nodded. "I get it. Now go, they must be worried sick. I'll call you tomorrow, alright?" Jiro was about to turn and leave when she stopped. "Oh right, I almost forgot." Leaning in, Jiro planted a kiss on Izuku's cheek. Izuku blushed. Jiro." That's when one of her earphone jacks stopped in front of Izuku's face. "Don't say a word. That was for saving me." With her head down, Jiro turned around and ran towards her parents. Izuku couldn't see it, but her face was red as well. Jiro's heart was beating out of her chest. What the hell did I just do? He must think I'm weird now. I really hope I didn't mess up by doing that. Minutes later, Inko would show up and take Izuku home. Inko hugged her son and cried when she knew that he was alright. "Sorry I made you worried, Mom." "It's fine, dear, the important part is that you're safe. Now come on, let's go home." The car ride was slow and it gave Izuku time to reflect on today's events. Izuku felt good helping people and wanted to do it more often. However, Venom only craved one thing, the taste of flesh once again. Soon Izuku would have to choose a path, and for everyone's sake, He better choose right. The heroes were once again called for a meeting concerning Venom. It just doesn't make sense, said Midnight as they sat around a table. First he attacks cops, then he saves a girl from being mugged, bites people's heads off, and now saves hostages. Does this guy want to help or make things worse? That is a difficult question to answer, said Nizu. Unless we actually talk to the kid we won't know his motives. I almost had him too. If I'd just looked around at my surroundings and seen that the ceiling was unstable I could have caught him, said All Might, voicing his frustration. An entire mall was completely taken over by terrorists and all the hostages walked out alive. We should be thanking this guy if I'm being honest, said Aizawa. While at the end of the day he did manage to save everyone he still killed to achieve it. We only kill when it's the only option. Even then, the repercussions for doing so can ruin a hero, explained Nizu. So what now? Asked Present Mike. All Might, if it was just you and him, no interference, would you be able to win? Asked Nizu. All Might thought about it. I don't know, the boy underneath is smart and his quirk is strong. He may be a difficult opponent, but I should be able to take him. Nizu nodded. Good, he usually shows up at night. I'll have the local heroes on the lookout. Once he's spotted you'll go in, if you can try to convince him to surrender, if not you may use force. Everyone else is on standby. Once All Might engaged Venom we surround them both. Leave no opportunity for him to escape. Every hero in the room nodded. This will end tonight one way or another. Aizawa then walked over to All Might. Hey All Might, you should know I'm still not sure if that's actually the boy's quirk. I tried to use my quirk on him but it didn't seem to affect him, so be careful. All Might nodded. Thanks for the heads up Aizawa, I'll keep it in mind. Elsewhere. Put your back into it Jiro, yelled out Izuku. Jiro was currently struggling to push a large desk across the sand. What do you think I'm doing? Try as she might, the large desk wouldn't move an inch. Jiro's feet dug into the sand as she gritted her teeth. Come on. Watch your footing. If your feet aren't set you'll. Izuku then watched as Jiro slipped and fell face first into the sand. Slip. Izuku could hear a loud groaning noise as Jiro slammed her hands into the sand. Lifting her head, Jiro had sand completely covering her face. Stupid sand. She then felt something hit her face. Grabbing whatever was on her face she noticed that it was a towel. You alright? Asked Izuku. Wiping away the sand Jiro nodded. Yeah I'm fine, my pride hurts a bit but that's all. Izuku laughed. Well come on Sandman, let's stop here for today. Wouldn't want you to get hurt right before the UA entrance exams. Jiro rolled her eyes. Gee thanks Seaweed. And maybe it wasn't a good idea to start working out just before the exam. But seeing you doing push-ups with one arm made me think it would be a good idea. Well I have been working out for a while now, said Izuku. Clearly, so, how's your arm? Asked Jiro. Izuku moved his bandaged up arm. It should be fine tomorrow. Jiro nodded. That's good. Still can't believe you cleaned so much. Izuku jumped off the fridge he was standing on. Yeah I even surprised myself. Speaking of surprised, I'm surprised you even showed up to work out. Standing up Jiro wiped the sweat off of her. Izuku got a good view. Jiro wore a black cropped tank top and black workout yoga pants. As she stretched Izuku couldn't help but look. Wow, I've never really paid attention but Jiro has a nice figure. Izuku could see the sweat around Jiro's midriff gleaming in the setting Sunday. You find her attractive don't you? Asked Venom. Shut up. This is none of your business. Oh but it is my business. So, are you going to make a move? Asked Venom. What? No. But you find her attractive, so why not go for it? Well, yes, but there are steps you have to take. I can't just rush things, besides, she might not even like me. But she kissed you. Izuku then thought back to the day of the mall incident and how Jiro had kissed him on the cheek. That's different. She was just repaying me for saving her. You really are a useless Deku aren't you? You don't have the balls to do it. Don't push your luck Venom, I will find a way to separate us. As Izuku and Venom were arguing, Jiro spoke. Midoriya, are you eyeing me? Izuku stopped his arguing with Venom and noticed that he didn't take his eyes off of Jiro. Sorry, just kind of zoned out there. You were checking me out just now, weren't you? Asked Jiro with a smug look on her face. Jiro expected Izuku to start mumbling or even blushed but to her surprise, he didn't. Maybe. Blinking a couple of times, a small blush formed around Jiro's cheeks. There's not much to check out though. I mean, look at me. Jiro was self-conscious about her body. She didn't have the huge boobs that all the boys liked, or the hourglass figure. In comparison, Jiro thought she was unattractive and it bothered her. Izuku raised an eyebrow. What are you talking about? You're pretty cute if you ask me. Jiro turned to Izuku with a blank look on her face. You serious? Izuku nodded. Yeah. I mean, every person has their type, right? So it just comes down to personal preference. I wish I met you earlier then. All the guys in my school always made fun of me. As you can see, I don't have the best body, said Jiro, as she thought back to all the teasing she had to endure. Well, fuck those guys, they clearly don't have good taste then. I for one think you're pretty cute. You're a bit of a tomboy, but that's another good thing about you. You don't take anyone's shit, and will fight for yourself and others, said Izuku. Wow, no one's ever told me that. Thank you, Midoriya, it means a lot to hear that. Izuku nodded. Now how about helping me up? I think it's time to go home. Reaching out, Izuku offered Jiro a helping hand. Grabbing his hand, Izuku pulled Jiro up. I'll walk you to the station. The two then walked towards the station. They had a few minutes before Jiro's train arrived, so they spent most of that time talking. So Midoriya, I've been meaning to ask you. That day at the mall, that Venom guy saved us, right? Why is she asking that? Thought Izuku. Yeah, he did. Why do you ask? Well, it's just, I think I gotta look at him, said Jiro. Izuku's eyes widened. Shit, does she know? If she does know, we will do something about it. Izuku could feel Venom was getting ready to strike. No, you won't. Jiro is my friend. If she does know, we'll work something out. Izuku swallowed nervously. Did you see what he looked like? As Jiro was about to answer, Venom began to appear behind Izuku's back. The appendage then sharpened into a spike. Venom was ready to kill Jiro to keep their secret. Well, not really. All I saw was his eyes. I think they were green. But with so much going on, I'm not so sure. He looked young, maybe about our age, but that's not what caught my attention. It was the look in his eyes. They looked conflicted. What do you mean? Asked Izuku. Like he was thinking about something. Maybe, I don't really get it, but he looked kind of lost. His voice too, it kind of reminded me of. However, before Jiro could finish the sentence, the train pulled into the station. At the same time, Venom put away the spike. Jiro got up from her seat. Looks like my train is here. I'll call you after the UA entrance exam tomorrow. Oh right. Izuku watched as Jiro walked towards the train. Hey Jiro. She looked back. Good luck. Jiro smiled. Thanks. Izuku waved as the train pulled out of the station. Izuku, she knows. You don't know that, answered Izuku. Don't be stupid, Izuku, we cannot risk her finding out about us. If she does, what's stopping her from turning us in? Izuku stayed silent. We should take care of this before it becomes a problem. Izuku turned and walked away from the station. No, we don't know for a fact that she knows. For now we'll just keep things the way they are. What Izuku didn't know was that Jiro had actually plugged her earphone jacks into the seat and heard Izuku's heartbeat during the conversation. Looking outside the window, Jiro sighed. His heart rate rose when I started to ask him about Venom. Could he really be Venom, or was I just imagining things? After getting off at her stop, Jiro walked home. Walking in, Jiro announced her presence. I'm home. Popping out from the kitchen, a slender woman who wore glasses and had the same short purple hair as Jiro appeared. This was Mika, her mother. Oh Kyoka, you're back. How was the workout? Jiro slumped her shoulders. Terrible, even with one good arm Midoriya was still able to run circles around me. I need a shower. You've been talking a lot about this Midoriya kid. Is he your boyfriend or something? Teased her mother. Jiro blushed, and no. He's just a friend. Mika smirked, but I've been hearing you talking to someone almost every night. Jiro was shocked. You listen in on my conversations? Yes, I got curious as to who you were talking to at 1 in the morning, said Mika. So when do we meet him? He's just a friend. Jiro had enough of her mother's teasing. Without saying another word, Jiro went upstairs to go take a shower. The water flowed off of Jiro as she stood underneath the shower head. She couldn't help but look down at herself and think of what Izuku said. Does he really think I'm cute? I don't see it. Later that night, Izuku had gone out that night to see if there was something he could do. It didn't take long for him to find a robbery in progress. 3 men were attempting to rob a small family restaurant. One of the men was stuffing a bag with money as he emptied the cash register. The other man was holding the 2 owners at gunpoint. The last one was guarding the door, making sure no one came in. The entire entrance was basically all made of glass so the robbers could see if someone came in. "Come on, hurry it up," one of the men yelled. "I almost have it all, give me a second," yelled out the man taking the cash. The man guarding the door looked out the glass. "We should be in the clear, let's hurry up and get out of here." "There, got it. Let's go." Zipping up the bag, the man jumped over the counter. "Pleasure doing business with you too. Have a beautiful night." However, just as they were about to leave, the man at the door stopped. "Wait. I think I saw something." The other 2 men then ran over to the glass. "I don't see anything." "I'm telling you I saw something," repeated the man. "You're just nervous, come on, let's go." The man with the cash opened the door to leave, but as soon as he did, a black hand grabbed him by the head. The man yelled out in horror as he was pulled out into the dark street. The 2 remaining men then heard a large crunching sound. What the fuck was that? A hero? No, there's no way that was a hero. "I think the rumors are true," said the man, pointing his gun towards the glass. "Who are you talking about?" asked the man. That's when one of the owners spoke, the man in the black suit, Venom. "But he's just a myth, right?" asked one of the robbers nervously. However, that was when something came crashing through the glass. Shards of glass scattered in every direction as Venom landed in the store. "I can assure you, we are very real." Panicked, the men began to open fire. Shots rang out in the shop as Venom, unfazed, began to stand up. Turning, he faced one of the men and roared in their face. Spit covered the man's face as he stood still in fear. The second man then began to fire the remaining of his bullets into Venom's back, but with the same effect as before. That's when Venom opened his mouth and bit the head of one of the men. The other could do nothing as he heard a loud crunching sound, followed by the body of his friend falling to the floor, now headless. "Why, you monster!" Venom turned around as blood stained his teeth. "We are not a monster, we are Venom." Throwing his hand forward, Venom's claws pierced the man's torso, completely disemboweling him. Venom then turned to the store owners. "If anyone harms you, tell them Venom will come for them." The store owners nodded. With that, Venom then left the store and jumped onto the roof of the nearby building. The night is still young and there are more criminals to punish. "Shall we keep looking?" asked Venom. "Yeah, but can you turn down the amount of blood you spill? I'm still not used to it and it's making me sick." Venom scoffed as he jumped onto the next building. As Venom was mid-air, a black portal opened up in front of him. "Venom, look out." Izuku tried to warn him, but it was already too late. Venom fell into the portal. Venom was surrounded by nothing but darkness. After a second, he suddenly landed on the ground. Looking around, he noticed that he was in a bar. "What is this?" That's when a voice was heard coming from a doorway. "Welcome, Venom." Venom turned to find a slim man with red eyes and very chapped lips appear. But the thing that struck Venom was that this guy was covered in hands. "Who are you?" "My name is Shigaraki, and my master wishes to speak to you," said Shigaraki, sitting down on a stool. "I don't appreciate being forced into this, so tell your master if he wants to talk. He'll have to do it later." However, as Venom was about to bust down a wall, someone wearing a suit stopped his path. Venom noticed that this person was made of the same stuff the portal was. "Move, unless you want to die." "Sorry, but we have to insist that you stay," said Shigaraki. That's when Venom turned around and faster than Shigaraki could react, a tentacle grabbed him and pinned him against the wall. "Do you really think you have the strength to stop me?" asked Venom. Shigaraki could feel the tentacle begin to squeeze him. "I thought it would end up like this. If you won't talk this out, then we'll have to use more direct measures." Reaching out, Shigaraki managed to touch the tentacle. Venom watched as it began to turn gray and decompose. "Venom, cut off your tentacle now. He has some sort of weird quirk." With his other arm, Venom raised it high and turned it into a blade. Throwing his arm down, he sliced off the piece that was deteriorating. Venom looked at his now severed arm. "You're going to regret that." Shigaraki saw as the stub began to regrow into a hand. Shigaraki readied himself, but just as the two were about to run at each other, a voice suddenly was heard from a monitor. Now, why don't we all just sit around and relax?" Venom turned to the monitor. "So you're the boss, huh? You have 10 seconds to explain who the heck you are and what you want. If we find your answer displeasing, your pet here is going to lose an arm." A small chuckle could be heard coming from the monitor. You're just like the reports say you are. In simple terms, we wish to hire you. You see, we work in extermination, and we would like your expertise on an upcoming job. We will pay handsomely. Venom scoffed. You think money is going to sway us? Sorry but no, go find some random person on the street. Venom then turned around to leave. But as he did, the person on the other side of the monitor spoke. Really, that's too bad. Here I was going to offer you something you want. Venom stopped. How would you know what we want? An individual like you doesn't just go around biting the heads off of people for no reason. There's a reason behind these killings. You have a goal. And I can help you achieve your goal. My reach is far and woven into every aspect of society. Join us for this one job and you will have access to it all. Now the person had Venom's attention. So what's this job exactly? Asked Venom. That, we cannot say. We just need your assurance that you will help us. I can even pay you up front. Kurojiri, if you will. Just then a small portal opened up in front of Venom. Something then fell into his hand. What is this? Venom looked at the flash drive. That, my friend, is the list of all the pro heroes that are hunting you. It includes names, addresses, and most important, their quirks. I assume that information will come in handy to you. Asked the man. Venom smiled. All right, you got yourself a deal. So when is this job? We'll call you the night before the job, so be this. Shigaraki then tossed a phone at Venom. Keep that nearby. Venom nodded. Then that concludes our negotiations then. Pleasure doing business with you. Good, Kurojiri here will drop you off where you were. Venom nodded as a portal opened up behind him. One more thing before we go. You should really teach your pet here to know when you shouldn't fuck with someone. It just might get him killed one day. Said Venom. Shigaraki's blood boiled. What did you say? I'll turn you to ash. Lunging at Venom, Shigaraki was just inches away from touching him when the voice boomed through the speaker. That's enough, Shigaraki. Back away now. Shigaraki stopped. But master. I said that's enough. Said the voice. You heard your owner, get to it. Said Venom, mocking Shigaraki. Frustration filled Shigaraki's face as he reluctantly retracted his hand. Venom smirked, like a bitch. With that, Venom walked into the portal and disappeared. Shigaraki turned to the monitor. Master, was that really wise? We can't trust Venom, we should just eliminate him. We can't do that, Shigaraki, not yet at least. Right now Venom is of use to us. That is, if he can pass the test, said the voice with a small laugh. Shigaraki looked at the monitor. Test? What test? To see if he can take on a specific hero. That only confused Shigaraki even more. With Venom. Venom re-emerged from the portal. Now standing atop a building, he looked around. Who were those guys? And can we really trust them? Asked Izuku. I do not know, but they did give us some valuable information. Said Venom. As Venom stood atop the building, Izuku noticed something. Hey Venom, do you hear that? I don't hear anything. Said Venom. That's exactly my point, we are in the middle of a city. There should be at least the sound of car engines. Venom walked over to the edge and looked down. There's no cars, no people, no nothing. What's going on? Asked Venom. That's when Izuku put it together. Venom. Move. It's a trap. However, before Venom could even move, he was punched in the back of the head. Venom's body hit the street so hard that it shattered on impact, causing a crater. Only one person has been able to hit us like that. All of a sudden something landed in front of Venom. All Might. Standing before him was the #1 hero. Give it up, Venom, this time you won't get away. Why? Because I am here. Venom stood up. Get out of our way, All Might, we don't wish to fight. But if you continue to hinder us. Just then Venom's arm transformed into a black spiked ball. We just might. Why are you doing this? I've heard you help people from time to time. Why kill them? Asked All Might. Why? Because we can. If you just throw them in jail, you don't stop the problem, you just pause it. In order to end a problem, we make sure they won't do it again. Said Venom as his long tongue lashed out. Is that you talking or the boy underneath? Asked All Might. It's both, we are one, we are Venom. All Might balled his fist. I don't know how you got this way, but let me help you. All Might then took a step forward. We can work something out with the police and heroes. But you have to come with me. Will you do that? Asked All Might with his hand extended out. just waiting for Venom to take it. Venom looked at All Might's hand. What kind of trick are you trying to pull? All Might shook his head. No tricks, no nothing. I'm just giving you the chance to end this peacefully. We can help you, if you'd just let us. Venom then let the spike ball in his hand revert back. Well, maybe we can try that. Much to All Might's surprise, Venom actually took his hand and shook it. However, that's when Venom smiled. Just kidding. That's when Venom's hand turned to mush and completely engulfed All Might's hand up to his forearm. All Might's eyes widened as he suddenly felt himself being lifted off the ground, only to be slammed back down face first. The street underneath them shattered as a result of the impact. Venom then flung All Might towards a building, slamming against it. All Might coughed out a bit of blood. Venom, I don't think this is a good idea, said Izuku. No? If we don't get rid of him now, then we won't be able to move freely. This is our chance. Looking to his left, Venom found a car. Transforming his hand, he sliced the vehicle in two and then grabbed each piece in each of his fists. All Might groaned in pain as he tried to pull himself free from the wall. So that's your answer, fine. Don't say I didn't give you a chance. But as the number one hero looked up, he saw Venom come flying at him. With a loud thump, Venom hit All Might across the face with one half of the car. The car broke into pieces from the hit, so Venom then raised his other fist and once again punched All Might with the other half of the car. All Might hung his head. Seeing this, Venom thought he had won. You lost, hero. Seems like talking won't work on you. If words won't work, then I'll just have to use force. Faster than Venom could react, All Might punched the symbiote under the chin. A loud boom was heard as Venom's body was thrown several meters into the sky. I told you. We can't take on All Might one-on-one, said Izuku. Shut up. Let us think. I got it, once we land, we'll hide, said Venom. However, that's when All Might appeared in midair. A good plan, but unfortunately for you, you won't get the chance. Venom's eyes widened as he saw All Might's arms outstretched. Aw crap. Thunderclap. Far above the city, All Might clapped his hands together, causing a massive shock wave of pure sound. The resulting sound wave was enough to shatter windows for several blocks, and Venom got the worst of it. Venom screeched out in pain as he peeled off of Izuku. But that wasn't the worst of it. Now without the symbiote, Izuku was powerless, which meant he had no way of stopping himself from falling. Falling to the ground, Izuku began to panic. Venom. Come on, I need you right now. But Venom didn't reappear. Izuku's eyes widened as he saw the floor quickly approaching. Izuku put his arms out in front of him, but before he could hit the floor, All Might caught him. Landing on an empty, dark roof, All Might dropped Izuku, causing him to roll to a stop. Izuku looked up to the hero towering over him. It's over, kid, you lost. Now come with me. Getting up, Izuku grabbed his injured shoulder. What is with you and roofs? This is just like last time. All Might raised an eyebrow. Have we met before? Izuku couldn't help but laugh. Guess you wouldn't remember. I mean, why would you? Everyone else does. Thanks to the darkness, All Might couldn't get a good look at Izuku's face, but he did see the gleam of green in his eyes. As All Might approached, a helicopter suddenly appeared behind Izuku and shined a bright light behind him. That's when a man appeared from the door of the helicopter with a minigun pointed right at Izuku. It's over, Venom. Surrender or we will shoot. All Might then heard clicking behind him. Turning around, he saw that it was several soldiers, but instead of the Japanese flag they wore the symbol of YTC on their arms. Who the hell are you guys? Izuku smirked. Well, isn't this just great? Oh well, I guess we'll have to finish our conversation another day, All Might. Later. Izuku then turned and ran towards the edge of the roof. Wait, kid, don't. Yelled out All Might as he watched Izuku jump from the roof. The soldiers quickly ran to the edge of the building, only to have two soldiers impaled in the face by black tentacles. Shit, open fire, one of them yelled out. The remaining soldiers all began to fire. The helicopter moved into position and fired down the side of the building. Venom is on the move. I repeat, Venom is on the move. With bullets whizzing by, Venom once again surrounded Izuku. Good to have you back, Venom. I was starting to get worried, said Izuku. Landing atop a car, Venom smiled. It's good to be back, but that blast almost killed us. Right now we are weak. If we don't get out of here, I fear even those bullets will finish us off. Then let's get the hell out of here. But first we have to take care of that helicopter, said Izuku. Leave that to us. I know how we can kill two birds with one stone. Turning his attention to the helicopter, Venom jumped towards the side of the building and began to scale it. The minigun operator tried to aim the gun, but Venom was moving too much and too fast. Making it to the roof, Venom jumped towards the cockpit. Shit. Target is at 12 o'clock. The pilot tried to turn the chopper, but it was too late. Raising his fists, Venom transformed them into hardened slabs and slammed them down. The cockpit was flattened. This sent it in a dangerous spin. The soldiers on the roof looked at the helicopter, which was now heading towards them. All Might's eyes widened. Damn you, Venom. Jumping forward, the hero managed to grab all of the soldiers and pulled them to safety. The helicopter crashed onto the roof, causing a massive explosion. By the time All Might looked for Venom, he was already long gone. We've met before, but where, and who is he? Not to mention, who are these guys? Asked All Might. That's when one of the soldiers pulled out a radio. Sir, we lost him. The target escaped. YTC headquarters. Kenshin sat in his office with his chair turned around. I see. Did you learn anything? Sir, it seems the symbiote has taken over a young boy. We didn't get a good look at his face though, explained the soldier. I already knew, so you failed is what you're telling me. Kenshin sighed. I am very disappointed in you, Commander. Consider you and your team fired. Turning his chair around, Kenshin hung up the phone. Failures, all of them failures. They can't even find one little kid. Kenshin slammed his fist onto the desk in a fit of rage. However, that's when the phone beeped. Mr. Yayorozu, your daughter is here. Composing himself, Kenshin nodded. Send her in. A second later, the doors to Kenshin's office opened up and in walked a tall girl with long black hair that was tied up in a ponytail. Father. Momo, my daughter, you are going to UA tomorrow, are you not? Asked Kenshin. Momo nodded. Yes, father, since I got in through recommendation, the school saw fit that I familiarize myself with the campus. Additionally, those who are taking the entrance exams will also be present. Good, good, I want you to do something for me. Do not disappoint me, daughter, I have spent too much money on getting you in for you to fail. Said Kenshin. Momo bowed. Of course, father, I won't let you down. Very well then, that is all, you may go. With that, Momo began to walk towards the door, but as she reached out to open it, Kenshin spoke. There is one more thing. I'd like for you to report any quirks that have to do with transformation. I assume you know what I'm talking about. I do, and I will look out for it. I'll take my leave now. Having gotten her assignment from her father, Momo walked out of his office. As she walked down the long hallway, she breathed a sigh of relief. He only calls for me when he wants something. And now that he lost that alien thing, his demands are becoming more outlandish. At least in UA I'll finally have some alone time, and maybe make some real friends. Jiro was nervous. Right now she stood in front of UA's gates. Alright Kyoka, you got this. There's no reason for you to be nervous, you studied, you kind of worked out, all you have to do is not fuck it up and you're good. Taking a deep breath, Jiro walked through the gates of UA for the hero entrance exams. After checking in, she was instructed to go into the testing area, where they would be taking a written test. Jiro wouldn't consider herself a genius, but she was by no means dumb or lazy. In her middle school she often ranked pretty high up. They had 1 hour to complete a 50-question exam on hero rules and basic high school entry subjects. By the end of it, Jiro finished about 10 minutes early and used the remaining time to check over her answers. Once the hour was done, everyone turned in their test and was taken to an auditorium for the second part of the exam. Finding a seat, she sat down next to a girl with short brown hair. So how was the written exam for you? She asked. The question caught Jiro by surprise. It was alright, I guess. There were some difficult questions. The girl nodded. Yeah, I should have studied more. I'm Okako Urarika, by the way. Kyoka Jiro, nice to meet you. Replied Jiro. Alright everybody. Who's ready to party? Yelled out someone appearing behind the podium. No one said a word. Wow, tough crowd. Anyway, I'm Present Mike and welcome to the second part of the UA entrance exam. As some of you know or not know, depending if you read the paper, the second part will be a practical. That's when behind the podium an image of 3 robot outlines were seen, each with their own distinct number value. The exam will have you running around a city destroying robots. Each robot has their own point value. That's when Jiro saw a hand shoot up just a few rows down. Excuse me. But the pamphlet says there are 4 robots. Present Mike pointed at a tall boy with blue hair. I was getting to that. The 4th and final robot will be worth 0 points. So avoid it if you can. The boy bowed. Excuse me for my rudeness. Jiro smirked, he looks really uptight. Uraraka nodded, yeah he does. So back to what I was saying. Avoid the zero pinter at all costs. The rules are simple, destroy as many robots as you can. The more you destroy the more points you'll get. Feel free to use your quirks however you please. But, you can't directly or indirectly use your quirk on others. So that means no sabotaging. You'll now be separated into groups, good luck everyone. With that, President Mike walked away from the podium as staff handed out papers with a group number. Well Jiro, let's hope we both pass. Said Uraraka. Jiro nodded, seems straightforward enough. Good luck. The students were then given an arena to report to. Jiro would go to Arena 2. UA allowed everyone to change into more comfortable clothing for this portion of the exam. Alright. Is everyone ready? Asked President Mike as he stood atop a watchtower. A few more rules before we begin. You will have exactly 10 minutes to destroy as many robots as you can. There are more than enough for everyone, so have at it. Also remember, no attacking each other. Got it? Good. Jiro and the rest of the students suddenly saw the doors to the massive city open up. But instead of going in, everyone just looked at each other, well, everyone but Jiro. Pushing her way to the front, she quickly ran into the city. What are you guys waiting for? Get going, there's no start indicator in real life. Said Mike. The students then looked into the city to see Jiro running at a two-pointer. Extending her earphone jacks forward, she stabbed them into the robots. Channeling her heartbeat through them, she managed to destroy the inner circuits, which caused the robot to spark, effectively destroying it. Midoriya switched places with me during the mall incident and nearly lost his life. I'll be a hero and make sure that doesn't happen again. Said Jiro as she made her way to another robot. The other students quickly followed Jiro's lead and ran into the city. Each student was doing their best, racking up points, and everything was being watched by several individuals in the observation room. We have a lot of potential this year, said Nizu. Midnight nodded, true, we have students with speed, power, skill, and stealth. While it is true we look for power, that's not all we want in our hero students. You need guts and heart, you need to be able to make quick decisions under pressure. Said Aizawa as he looked at the monitors. Looking to his left, Aizawa saw All Might sitting in a chair not saying a word. Are you still thinking about Venom? Asked Aizawa. All Might looked up, revealing that he was in his skinny form. Huh? Oh yeah, I still can't believe he's so young. He might be as old as these exam takers. Any chance he's here? Nizu shook his head, unfortunately not, it seems Venom, or rather the kid, doesn't have an interest in being a hero. Have you remembered who he was yet? Asked Midnight. No, not yet. He said we've met before, but what if he was lying? Maybe he said that to get under my skin. Thought All Might. That's a possibility, but he doesn't strike me as the one to play mind games. Explained Nizu. Venom is straightforward, he does what he wants, when he wants. There's no reason for him to play games. Speaking of playing games, I think it's time for the final boss, no. Midnight nodded, and turning to the control panel she pressed a giant red button. Back in the city. Jiro was exhausted, she had been running around the city trying to rack up the points. But after 8 minutes she managed to destroy a few robots for a total of 35 points. I still need more points, it might not be enough. Said Jiro as she leaned against a pole. However, as she was resting, the ground beneath her began to shake violently. What's going on? That's when it appeared. From the center of the city, a massive robot, several stories tall, began to rise from the ground. At its max, the Titan dwarfed the buildings around it. It then swung its massive arm, destroying a building in the process, and sending pieces of said building flying at the students. Jiro's eyes widened as she noticed a piece of wall flying at her. Ducking down, it narrowly missed her as it slammed against the wall behind her. You know, maybe I shouldn't mess with that. Jiro was not alone in making that decision. Several other test takers quickly began to run away from the Titan as it made its way towards them. However, just as she was going to be in the clear, Jiro heard something. Help me. Turning around, Jiro looked through the crowd of people running to see a brown-haired girl stuck underneath a slab of the destroyed building. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Uraraka tried desperately to free herself, but nothing was working. Her quirk, zero gravity, allowed her to float anything she touched with all 5 fingertips. But she had overused it, causing nausea. Help me. She pleaded out as students ran past her, but no one came to her aid. Sorry mom, sorry dad. I wanted to become a hero for you guys but now, I don't think I'll make it. Just as Eureka was about to give up hope, a voice called out to her. Hey. You alright? Looking up, Eureka noticed that it was Jiro. I am here to help, anything hurting? My ankle, I think it's broken. Eureka then looked behind her to see the Titan robot rumbling toward them, destroying everything in its path. Leave, the robot is almost here, it's going to flatten you, said Eureka as Jiro tried to lift the slab off of her. And no way. I'm getting you out of here, said Jiro as she strained herself. Unable to lift the slab, Jiro got another idea. Cover your ears, this might get loud. Eureka nodded and did as she was told. Jiro then stabbed her earphone jack into the slab and began to channel her heartbeat through them. With a loud thump, the slab split into tiny fragments, freeing Eureka. Alright, let's go. Jiro then grabbed Eureka and then threw her arm around Eureka's shoulder. Thank you, said Eureka as they made their way towards safety. Don't thank me yet, explained Jiro, that Titan is still on our asses. The massive robot rolled its way down the main road towards the two girls. Jiro's eyes widened as it suddenly began to reach out for them. Ah hell. Closing her eyes, Jiro braced for the impact. And in that second that she thought it would all be over, Jiro could only think of Izuku. The Titan reached out for the two, but just as it was inches from grabbing them, a loud buzzer was heard. Time's up. I hope you all got enough points. Those who are injured, please stay where you are, we will bring someone over soon. Jiro sighed as she slowly lowered Eureka onto the sidewalk. Man, that was close. Now sitting on the floor, Eureka grabbed her ankle. Sorry for making you help me, and sorry if I was heavy. Jiro shook her head. It's fine, just glad we are both safe. She then looked at Eureka. You were kind of heavy, must be because of that rack. Damn, I'm jealous. Jiro instinctively compared them to her own, and well, there was no competition. In the end they are just lumps of fat, but still. Would Midoriya like me more if they were bigger? Jiro's face turned slightly red as she thought back to when Izuku said she was cute. Oh my, your face is a bit red. Are you alright, dear? Asked an old woman with a walking cane. Oh, yeah, I'm fine, it's her you should be worried about. I think her ankle is broken, said Jiro, motioning towards Eureka. Let me see. The woman then checked Eureka's ankle. It doesn't seem to be broken, but it is sprained. Don't worry though, I'll patch you right up. The woman then kissed Eureka on the cheek, and almost instantly the injury healed. Wow. That's amazing. Wait, are you recovery girl? That's right, here, have some gummy bears. My quirk uses your body's natural response to heal, but it also makes people really tired, explained recovery girl. Eureka nodded. Thank you so much. With that, recovery girl walked away from the two to treat others. Stay here and rest. If we're lucky we might see each other again in the hero course, said Jiro. Yeah, thanks again for all your help, said Eureka, bowing slightly. Don't mention it, see ya. Jiro then walked away to go change. Going into the lockers, Jiro changed back into her middle school uniform. As she was walking out of the locker room, she pulled out her phone. Now I have to wait an entire week to find out if I got in or not. This is going to be nerve-wracking. Maybe I should call Midoriya. Now standing outside of UA's gates, Jiro began to dial Izuku's number. As it was ringing, Jiro watched as a long black limo drove by. Sitting in the very back with the windows down was a girl with her hair tied back in a ponytail. For a brief moment Jiro and the girl's eyes met. I didn't see her during the exam. I wonder who she was. Hey Jiro. Earth to Jiro, you there? Asked Izuku through the phone. Jiro snapped back to reality. Oh, sorry about that, just got distracted. So anyway, I just finished up the entrance exam. Really? So how did you do? Asked Izuku excitedly. Honestly, I couldn't say. They didn't say much, but I have to wait for a week for the results to come through the mail. Jiro then suddenly heard a loud crashing sound. What was that? That was some junk I was cleaning up at the beach. Looks like I didn't stack it right and it almost crushed me, explained Izuku. You're working out already? Are you sure your arm is all healed up? Asked Jiro, concerned. Oh, is someone worried about me? Teased Izuku through the phone. Jiro blushed slightly. I'm kidding, but if you must know, yes, my arm is healed up. Good, so how about I join you? We can work out together, proposed Jiro. That's cool, but you should rest. You just took UA's entrance exam. Rest up for today, we'll train tomorrow, said Izuku. Jiro thought about it. Well, I am a bit tired from fighting the robots. Alright, fine, tomorrow it is then. Alright, see you there. Later, Jiro. With that, Izuku ended the call. As Jiro looked at her phone, she couldn't help but smile. He's such a dork. With Izuku. Izuku was at the beach and he was working out, kind of. Well, it was more Venom having fun than anything else. Venom wasn't happy. After his fight with All Might, he'd begun to be more aggressive. Currently, tentacles were sprouting from Izuku's back and grabbing every bit of trash around him and throwing it. This had been going on for about 45 minutes. After the phone call, Venom stopped. Better? Asked Izuku. Better, responded Venom. Good, let's head home for today. I want to get a look at that list of names and quirks. I don't want to get caught off guard by some random hero, said Izuku as he got up. Agreed, and next time we will kill All Might. Izuku sighed. He's already kicked our ass twice. Do you really think we can take him? Yes. Izuku raised an eyebrow. All we have to do is get in closer. For now we lay low, we can't risk running into All Might again. If we do, we might be separated, said Izuku. We will never let that happen. Good, glad to hear we are on the same page. Come on, let's go home. I'll buy some chocolate on the way home. Seeing that Izuku would buy chocolate in large quantities, the store owner, who was a very old man, would special order some for Izuku and sell it to him at a slightly discounted rate. Walking into the store, Izuku went straight for the register. Hey, Mr. Lee. Appearing behind a comic book was a man with white hair, a well-trimmed mustache, and wearing signature Cartier Vendôme sunglasses. Midoriya, here for the chocolate, I see. Izuku nodded. Yes sir, Mr. Lee. Excelsior. It's in the back, just let me grab them for you. With that, Mr. Lee went off to grab Izuku's order. As Izuku was waiting, the door chime suddenly rang, signaling someone's arrival. Heads up, we got company. Before Izuku could even turn around, something cold was pressed up against his head. Don't move, kid, unless you want to die. Now, give me your wallet. The man's hand turned into a blade and was now up against Izuku's neck. Can I eat this one? Asked Venom. Izuku sighed. You know what, sure. You can eat this guy. He's trying to mug me, so that means he's done it before. Just try not to leave a mess, it will only cause problems for Mr. Lee. And if that happens, we might not be able to buy chocolate from him again. What? No more chocolate? Alright, fine, no mess, but I'll make this one suffer, explained Venom. Didn't you hear me? Give me your wallet. Now, demanded the robber. Today's not your day. You should have left when you had the chance, said Izuku. Huh? Can't you feel my quirk? I'm going to slice your head off if you don't give me your wallet, yelled out the robber, but Izuku wouldn't move. Fine. I'll just take it from your body. Raising his arm, the robber was about to slice off Izuku's head when a black hand appeared from his back, stopping the blade. What? Covering Izuku completely, Venom appeared. The mere sight of him made the robber tremble in fear. You have caught me in a bad mood. What the fuck are you? Yelled out the robber as he activated his quirk again on his other arm. The robber tried to slice Venom's face, but Venom simply opened his mouth and bit the blade, shattering it. That was rather rude. Now I will take my frustration out on you. Picking up the man, Venom began to slam him against the wall, floor, and shelves of the store. Venom. What did I say about a mess? Yelled out Izuku. Venom stopped. Looking around, he looked at the mess he created. Soda cans, candy, chips, and bento boxes scattered the floor. The shelves that once stood were now toppled along with their goods. Oh, right. He then raised the robber by one leg. At this point, the man was barely conscious and bleeding profusely from his body. See, this is your fault. Whatever, I'm going to eat you. Opening his mouth, Venom bit the head off the man before swallowing him whole, leaving no trace behind. Alright Midoriya, here's your chocolate. Mr. Lee appeared from the back to see that his store was a mess and Izuku was still standing behind the counter. Raising his glasses, Mr. Lee looked at Izuku. Midoriya, what happened? Oh, you know. Izuku was trying to come up with a good excuse. An earthquake. Mr. Lee blinked a couple of times. Guess I didn't feel it. Must be my age. Izuku couldn't believe it. Holy shit, that worked. Come on, you're not that old. Here, let me help you with the cleanup. Getting to work, Izuku helped Mr. Lee pick up the mess he created. Now done, Izuku took out his wallet to pay for the chocolate, but before he could grab the money, Mr. Lee put his hand up. Nope, no charge. Not after you helped me. Are you sure? I can still pay you, offered Izuku. It was my fault anyway. I won't accept it. Please Midoriya, take it. Seeing that Mr. Lee wasn't going to give it up, Izuku sighed. Since you put it that way, I accept. Thank you, Mr. Lee. Grabbing the big box of chocolates, Izuku bowed and left the store. 1 week later. Alright Jiro, you ready? Asked Izuku as he wore his workout clothes. Jiro nodded, yes. Good, now, go. Jiro then jumped at Izuku and tried to grab him. Izuku jumped back only to have Jiro's earphone jacks appear in front of his face. Izuku's eyes widened, but he soon leaned back, dodging the earphone jacks. Not bad, you're getting better, said Izuku as he put his hand on the floor and kicked his legs up. His target, Jiro's stomach, but as his feet were inches from hitting her, Jiro wrapped her jacks around his leg, stopping his momentum. Thanks, but you should really stop talking and hit me. Flinging her jacks, Jiro caused Izuku to flip in the air. Landing on his feet, Izuku stood up and looked at Jiro. I would hit you, but I don't want to hurt you. Jiro raised an eyebrow. Well, that's just sexist. Just because I'm a girl you think I can't take it? No, that's not what I meant. I know you can take it, you're strong, I know that, and so do you. But you lack one thing, explained Izuku. And what's that? Asked Jiro. Appearing suddenly in front of her, Jiro panicked and tried to stab her jacks into Izuku. But before she could, Izuku disappeared once again and reappeared behind her. Jiro tried to turn around, but before she could, Izuku swiped her legs, causing her to fall. As she fell, Izuku then grabbed her arm and twisted it back. With a thud, the two fell to the floor with Izuku on top of Jiro. You lack confidence. Jiro tried to break free of the arm lock but found that Izuku was using his weight against her. Alright, I give. Now can you please get off of me, this position is a bit. Izuku smirked as he leaned down and whispered into her ear. A bit what, tell me? Blushing, Jiro began to squirm around. I mean people might get the wrong idea. Chuckling, Izuku got off of Jiro and offered her a hand up. You may act tough, but you have a sensitive side, don't you? Grabbing his hand, Jiro pulled herself up. Shut up. Izuku put his hands up. Alright, I'll stop. So, any word from Yue yet? Jiro walked over to her water bottle. No, not yet. It's been a week, so the notice should come any day now. That's when it happened. Jiro suddenly got a call on her cell phone. Digging into her bag, she found her phone. Hold on, it's my mom. Jiro then picked up the call. Hey mom, what's up? Kyoka, it's here, said Miko with excitement in her voice. What is? Asked Jiro. The results for Yue. It just arrived. Jiro's eyes widened. Speak of the devil. Alright, I'll be home soon, don't open it, said Jiro as she hung up the phone. Looks like the results are in. Really? That's pretty convenient. So I guess you'll be heading home? Asked Izuku. Jiro nodded. Yeah, I need to see if I passed or not. Although, I'm really nervous. Hey, I'm sure you did amazing. Just be more confident in yourself, said Izuku with a smile. Seeing Izuku's smile actually calmed Jiro down. Thanks Midoriya, I know this is going to be a bit weird, but I would rather open it with you there. For some reason you calm me down, and with you there I'd feel a lot better. Are you sure? I mean, I don't mind, but what about your parents? Asked Izuku. Jiro shrugged. They won't mind, I think. Well, if you're sure then I'll go, said Izuku. Awesome. Let's go. With that, the two then began to pack up their stuff and head towards the station. After getting on in a 20-minute ride, they arrived at Jiro's stop and walked to her place. Now standing in front of a 2-story house, Izuku began to feel nervous. What's wrong? Asked Venom. You're nervous? Of course I'm nervous. A girl just invited me to her house. This is the first time this has happened, explained Izuku. Don't be a bitch and get inside already. This is just pathetic. Alright, fine, geez. For a weird alien you sure like to criticize. Are you coming, Midoriya? Asked Jiro as she stood at the door. Snapping out of it, Izuku nodded. Yeah, sorry about that. Fair warning, my parents can be a bit weird, so keep that in mind. Walking in, Jiro announced her presence. Mom. I'm home. Turning the corner, Mika appeared holding the envelope in her hands. It's about time you showed up. I was starting to. Mika stopped when she saw Izuku standing beside Jiro. Oh. Izuku bowed. It's nice to meet you. My name is Izuku Midoriya. Mika smiled. Well, aren't you well-mannered? My name is Mika Jiro. Nice to meet you too, Midoriya. Alright, enough with the formalities. You got the letter, Mom? Asked Jiro. Mika raised the letter. Right here. Jiro grabbed the letter. Awesome. Let's go, Midoriya. We'll open it in my room. Izuku followed, but as he passed Mika he quickly bowed. Sorry about this. Mika couldn't help but smile as the two went upstairs. Well, would you look at that? My little girl is growing up. I wonder what her father will say once he finds out she brought a boy over. Now in Jiro's room, Izuku looked around to find it filled with instruments, but mostly guitars. I see you really like guitars. Sitting down on her bed, Jiro sighed and turned to Izuku. I told you, remember, my parents are musicians. Also, don't just stand there, take a seat. Can you really play all of these? Asked Izuku as he pointed to a piano. Jiro wrapped the ends of her earphone jacks around her finger in a nervous fashion. I know the basics, yeah. Wow, okay, now you're just showing off. Said Izuku as he sat on a desk chair. Yeah, whatever, that's not important right now. Jiro then lifted up the envelope. This is important. The two looked at the envelope for a minute. So are you going to open it? Asked Izuku. With her hands shaking, Jiro nodded. Eventually, just let me mentally prepare myself. Closing her eyes, she began to take deep breaths in an effort to calm herself. Izuku rolled his eyes. Oh, for God's sake. Getting up from the chair, Izuku walked over to Jiro and snatched the envelope out of her hands. Snapping her eyes open, Jiro looked at Izuku. Hey. Give that back. As she tried to reach for it, Izuku moved the envelope out of the way. Let's open it now. The more you drag things along, the more anxious you'll get. No, wait. Yelled out Jiro as she grabbed Izuku by the arm and pulled. Not expecting it, Izuku fell towards the bed and now was on top of Jiro. The two looked each other in the eyes. She hadn't really noticed, but Izuku's eyes were really green. So was this your plan all along? To get me in the same bed as you? Teased Izuku. Jiro blushed, and no, I wanted to get this. Jiro held up the envelope, showing that she managed to take it back. That surprised Izuku. When did you? Not important, now can you get off before my mom shows up? Izuku nodded and sat beside Jiro. Thank you. With the envelope in her hands, Jiro still couldn't muster up the courage to open it. What if she failed? What if I didn't get enough points? What was she going to do if she didn't get into UA? All those questions and more kept popping into her mind, causing her heart rate to shoot up. Seeing that Jiro was nervous, Izuku placed a hand on hers. It's okay to be scared, but no matter what happens, no matter what that paper says, I'll be here with you. You understand? Jiro turned to Izuku and nodded. Yeah, thanks Midoriya, I really appreciate that. Now a little more relaxed, Jiro took a deep breath and ripped the envelope open. But instead of finding a letter, they found a metal disc. Izuku looked at the disc. What? That's it, a metal coaster. I was expecting more, said Jiro as she grabbed the disc. However, that's when it suddenly began to light up. Startled, Jiro dropped the disc. As it landed in between the two, a holographic projection of All Might appeared. All Might. Izuku narrowed his eyes. It's him. Easy, Venom, he's not here, this is just a projection, said Izuku. Is this thing on? Oh, it is? I am here, as a projection. As you may or may not know, I am All Might. Now I know what you must be thinking. Why is the #1 hero making this? Well, I'll tell you why. Because you are looking at the newest UA faculty member. I will be teaching at UA this upcoming semester. I hope to teach the future heroes a thing or two, and that could be you, so let's find out, shall we? Jiro and Izuku both knew what was next. Clearing his throat, All Might grabbed a piece of paper off screen. Kyoka Jiro, when it comes to the written part of the exam, I am pleased to say that you passed. Very good work. Jiro smiled at her accomplishment. See, I told you, nothing to worry about, said Izuku. However, as you know, that wasn't the only part of the entrance exam, you also had the practical. So let's see if you passed. You destroyed several robots, bringing your total to 38. Not bad, but sadly not enough. A frown fell over Jiro's face when All Might said that. But destroying robots wasn't the only way to earn points. We also had a secret category called Hero Points. As the name implies, you get points by doing heroic acts, and Yujiro did. You were the only one to jump into action when the other test taker was trapped. For your brave actions you've earned an additional 40 points, bringing your grand total to 78, which is more than enough to earn you a spot in the hero course. With that being said, congratulations Kyokajiro, you passed. Welcome to UA, I hope to see you in a few weeks, so be ready and don't forget, plus Ultra. With that the projection of All Might faded away. Izuku and Jiro sat in silence for a few seconds. Well, I think congratulations are in order. Right, Jiro? As Izuku turned, he was suddenly hugged by Jiro. It took a few seconds, but eventually Jiro noticed what she was doing and quickly broke the hug. Sorry, I didn't mean. It's fine, what's important is that you passed, said Izuku with a big smile on his face. Jiro nodded, yeah. I still can't believe it, I'm actually going to UA. I'm proud of you, Jiro. Now, I think this calls for celebration. We'll do something later, but I think you should go tell your mom the good news, said Izuku. She probably already knows, she does have the same quirk as I do. But you're right, I should go tell them. But first I do have one request, a sort of reward you can give me, said Jiro as she nervously played with her jacks. Izuku raised an eyebrow, oh sure, whatever you want. Just tell me. Jiro turned to Izuku, well, I want you to call me by my first name. Call me Kyoka. Izuku blinked a couple of times, sure, if that's what you want. Alright Kyoka, but you have to call me Izuku. No more nicknames. Kyoka smirked, not a chance, Jolly Green. Izuku sighed, it was worth a shot. Just you wait though, I'll think of a nickname for you. I will have my revenge. You are welcome to try Green Bean, but until then I'm going to keep calling you those nicknames, said Jiro as she got up from the bed. Izuku followed suit, fine whatever, anyway go tell your parents the good news. I'll see you later, alright. Right, come on I'll walk you out. I wouldn't want my mom to start interrogating you, said Jiro. I will plead the fifth in any and all questions, and ask for my lawyer to be present, said Izuku in a joking manner. Jiro laughed, yeah that wouldn't work on my mom. She's like me but 10 times worse. Then I better not do anything dumb when she's around, said Izuku. A wise policy Midoriya, said Mika as she appeared beside the stairs. Leaving so soon? Unfortunately yeah, Jiro, I mean Kyoka here has something she would like to share. And it's better not to have someone who's not family here. Besides, my mom will freak out if I stay out too late, explained Izuku. Mika caught the fact that Izuku just called her daughter by her first name. I see, well it's best not to keep her waiting. It was a pleasure meeting you Midoriya, even though our time was short. Izuku bowed, the pleasure was all mine, thank you for having me. With that Izuku opened the door and walked out of Kyoka's house. Kyoka stood there beside her mother, so, said Mika. Is he your? He's not my boyfriend, responded Kyoka before her mother could finish the question. Oh really? Then why did he call you by your first name? Questioned Mika. Kyoka looked away, because I told him to, that's why. Remember the mall incident? Well he's the one who saved me. Izuku switched spots with me and in doing so he almost died. Mika was a bit surprised, Kyoka was never this open. I see, are you sure that's all? Kyoka turned to her mother, yeah, why? Oh nothing, it's just, you seem a bit different than usual, said Mika. Anyway you should invite him over for dinner next time. If he saved you we should thank him properly. Kyoka nodded, I'll ask him later. Good, so what was this news he was talking about? Asked Mika. Right, I actually got into UA, said Kyoka. Mika smiled as she hugged Kyoka, that's amazing dear. I just knew you could do it. Thanks mom, answered Kyoka, slightly embarrassed. I'll make your favorite food tonight. I can just picture the look on your father's face when he finds out you got into UA. That and the fact that you have a boyfriend now, said Mika in a teasing manner. Kyoka blushed, he's not my boyfriend. Breaking away from the hug she decided to go to her room until dinner was ready. Laying on the bed Kyoka sighed, well, at the very least I'm not opposed to the idea. As Izuku got home he had dinner with his mom and went to his room. Once there he walked towards his desk and turned on his computer. Venom, the drive. A black tentacle then suddenly appeared behind Izuku holding the flash drive Shigaraki gave him. Plugging it in and after a few clicks Izuku pulled up the files on the heroes. We can use this, said Venom. Izuku smiled, yes we can. They won't even know what hit them. Once again Kyoka stood at UA's gates, but this time not for the entrance exam, no, this time she was a student. Donning her UA uniform she walked into the school. As she roamed the halls looking for Class 1A she bumped into someone familiar. Oh hey, I remember you. Startled, Kyoka turned around to find Uraraka standing there. Oh it's you, I don't think I ever got your name, said Kyoka. Okako Uraraka, it's nice to meet you, said Uraraka with a bright smile. Kyoka nodded, likewise, the name's Kyoka Jiro. As the two walked inside the classroom they were greeted by the sound of shouting, please get your feet off of the desk, demanded a tall boy with blue hair and glasses. There with his feet kicked up on the desk and his chair leaning back was Bakugo. What are you, some stickler for the rules? Leave me alone. The boy in blue chopped his hand. We are in UA, one of the most prestigious schools in all of Japan. You should act with a bit more decency. Hey, isn't that the one boy that was uptight? Asked Uraraka. Kyoka nodded, yeah, looks like he got into UA too. Looking around the room Kyoka saw someone she recognized. There in the back sitting alone was the girl with the black hair. She's here? But I don't remember seeing her at the entrance exam. Strange. However, as the two girls stood at the doorway a voice was heard behind them, if you are here to socialize, then you can leave now. Uraraka and Kyoka turned around slowly to find a sleeping bag on the floor. Suddenly the bag stood up and turning around they saw the face of a very tired-looking man. Take your seats, class starts now. Kyoka quickly found her seat. As fate would have it she sat beside the girl with the black hair. The sleeping bag then walked over to the podium in front of the glass. Alright, welcome to UA, my name is Izawa and I'll be your homeroom teacher. Now that introductions are out of the way, go get changed into your gym uniforms and meet me on the field. Everyone looked at each other confused. Did I stutter? Get moving, you have 10 minutes. Seeing that he was serious everyone quickly went to get changed. As they changed Kyoka couldn't help but look around at each of the girls and notice how much bigger they were. Clenching the uniform Kyoka shook her head, can't think about that now, besides, it doesn't matter, right? You alright Jiro? Asked Uraraka. You look distracted. Kyoka snapped out of her trance, yeah I'm fine, just nervous that's all. Hey don't be, said a girl with pink skin, hair, and yellow horns on her head. We are in this together, Mina Ashido by the way. Mina's right, it's the first day, I'm sure Mr. Izawa won't do anything crazy, ribbit. Said a girl with long straight dark green hair. Tsuyu Ajui, but call me Tsu. Well since we are all introducing each other, my name is Toru Hagakure. It's nice to meet you. Said a floating shirt. That's when the girl in black closed her locker. My name is Momoye Yoroza. It's nice to meet all of you. And I do hope we get along. Now that they were all introduced the girls looked over at the clock to see that they only had 2 minutes left. They quickly made it to the field to find all of the guys were already there, along with Izawa. Good, now that everyone is here we can start. However, that's when Uraraka raised her hand. Mr. Izawa, what about the orientation? We don't have time for that. If you are serious about becoming heroes then you will spend all of your time here learning. Bakugo, think fast. Izawa then threw a ball at Bakugo, to which he caught. What was your ball throwing score in middle school? About 50 meters. Answered Bakugo. Izawa nodded, good, now throw it using your quirk. See that circle, do whatever you want just don't leave it. Bakugo smirked as he walked into the circle. Winding up Bakugo flexed his arm and throwing his arm forward a large explosion rippled throughout his hand. Die! He yelled out as the ball was launched into the air. Kyoka blinked a couple of times, why yell out die? Good, with this we can test your quirk's limits and see what you have to improve on. Turning around, Izawa was holding a small device that displayed the distance Bakugo threw the ball, 705 meters. Whoa, this is awesome! Said a boy with red hair. Right. We get to use our quirks as much as we want. This is going to be fun. Said Mina excited. That's when Izawa raised an eyebrow, fun you say? Alright, how about this, whoever gets last place will be kicked out of the hero course. 19 is a terrible number of students, I would rather have an even number. The class fell silent. What? You can't do that? It's barely the first day. Said a tiny boy with purple balls as hair. I can and I will. UA gives teachers a lot of liberty when it comes to this. So now that you know what's at stake, let's get started, shall we? Kyoka's face turned serious. There's no way in hell I'm leaving this class, not after Izuku helped me get here. With eyes burning with determination, Kyoka took each challenge head on. Izuwa's little test consisted of sit-ups, push-ups, a 50-meter dash, a long-distance run, grip strength, standing long jump, repeated side steps, toe touches, and of course the ball throw. Safe to say Kyoka was exhausted by the end of it. She wasn't in the best of shape, but working out with Izuku did come in handy. She wouldn't be last at the very least, and now it was just down to her and the final test. Standing in the circle, Kyoka grabbed the ball. Normally she would throw it, but since she was allowed to use her quirk, she had a better idea. Jamming the ball into one of her earphone jacks, Kyoka channeled her heartbeat through the ball, causing it to launch into the sky. Turning around, Izuwa showed the screen, "Not bad, nice work using your quirk in that way." Kyoka smiled at her score, 200 meters. Nice. Alright everyone, gather up, I am about to display the results of the test. Izuwa then pressed a button on the remote. A projection soon appeared that displayed everyone's position. Kyoka nodded. Hey, 10 out of 19 isn't too bad, at least I'm not last. However, that's when the short boy with purple balls' hair fell to his knees. This was Mineta. My dreams of becoming a hero for the ladies is over. Really? That's the only reason why you wanted to be a hero? Asked Kyoka with disgust. Mineta gave Kyoka a glare but quickly went back to weeping. So that was all a bluff, said Izuwa. Everyone turned to Izuwa. What? Honestly, did you guys really think he would kick us out? Asked Momo. It was an obvious bluff to get us worked up. Izuwa nodded. Right you are, and now that you know what is at stake here or could be, I trust you will all be trying your best. The class nodded. Good, go get changed and head to the orientation. The class quickly went off to change, but as Kyoka was changing she let out a sigh of relief. If I did get kicked out and Izuku found out, he would have been upset. That's when one of the girls, Mina, threw an arm around Kyoka. Oh, who is this Izuku? A boyfriend perhaps? Kyoka turned red. Did I say that out loud? And no, he's not my boyfriend, he's just a friend. Mina smirked. Right, a friend. Well, we just met so I won't push this too much, but you best be prepared for later. Kyoka laughed nervously. I already get the feeling this is going to be a long year for me. With Izuku. Izuku was bored out of his mind. Currently he was sitting in class. He was after all going to high school. This school started 1 week earlier, so they were already in the swing of things. He really didn't want to be here, but he did promise Inko that he would go to high school. He was feeling a bit under the weather, but Izuku choked it up to the changing seasons. Sitting in history class, the teacher was going over something. He wasn't really paying attention. Instead he tried to distract himself by looking out the window and thinking of ways he could use the information Shigaraki gave him against the villains. We shouldn't waste our time here, said Venom inside Izuku's mind. I know, but this is what normal people do, we go to school. So have you thought of ways to fight the heroes on the list? Asked Izuku as he twirled a pencil in his hand. Most are not a problem, the one called Eraserhead should be easy. Midnight, as she's called, is also easy prey. Her quirk is tricky, but if we stop her before she releases the toxin we should be fine. Of those on the list, only 2 pose any real threat, explained Venom. Let me guess, Present Mic and All Might, right? We can deal with Mic, but All Might's power and speed is something we can't take on, said Izuku. I agree, but from the information in the notes, he does seem to have a weakness. Izuku stopped twirling his pencil. He does? What is it? Asked Izuku. From what I gathered, All Might has some sort of injury on his body that has made him considerably weaker these last couple of years. If we can find this weak spot, we can exploit it. Izuku narrowed his eyes. Easy, Izuku, we know you hate him, but we'll have our chance soon enough. Izuku closed his hand, causing the pencil to break in his hands. I'll make him pay for shattering my dreams like that. Midoriya, Midoriya. You with us? Asked his teacher. Izuku looked up. Yeah, I'm here. Good, so can you tell me when Constantinople fell? Asked the teacher. Izuku stood up. May 29th, 1453. The Ottomans took down the city after a 53-day siege. The teacher was surprised. He thought Izuku wasn't paying attention. Correct. Sitting back down, Izuku went right back to looking out the window. I wonder what Kyoka is up to. 1 week later. Izuku stood at the top of a building overlooking the city wearing a black hoodie. The heroes, they haven't gone after me lately. Why? It seems that our last encounter was different, explained Venom. You mean those men with guns? Those men were part of a group. YTC was it, said Izuku, remembering back. The very same place where we formed our bond, said Venom. I'm glad you remember us. I think it's time we had a chat, Venom, said a voice behind Izuku. Startled, Izuku turned around. As he did, Venom covered Izuku completely. How did this guy get behind us? I do not know, but if he was able to do that, he must be dangerous. Shall we kill him? Asked Venom. Wait, if he wanted to attack us he would have already. Let's see what he has to say first, said Izuku. Who are you, and what do you want? Asked Venom as he towered over the man. The man walked up to Venom and fixed his tie. Like I said, I'm here to talk. Venom growled, then speak, but if we find what you have to say annoying, we will kill you. The man laughed. To think you became this violent. That's to be expected. You did kill all of our other test subjects. Let me introduce myself. My name is Kenshin Yaoyorozu, CEO of YTC. Izuku's eyes widened. It's really him, but why is he here? And why did he say that you killed the other test subjects? What is he talking about? Nothing, don't worry about that, answered Venom. We know who you are. You forced us to bond with the others. Treated us like a lab rat. Venom then reached out and grabbed Kenshin by the neck, lifting him up. Kenshin struggled to breathe. Wait, I said I was here to talk, let me do that. To the both of you. Venom narrowed his eyes. Venom. Don't kill him. Throwing Kenshin to the ground, Venom stood over him. Get on with it already. Grabbing his neck, Kenshin began to cough. I'm here to offer the boy inside you a chance, to give you up. Of course it won't be free. I am ready to offer you 1 billion yen. All the boy has to do is hand you over. Venom laughed. The boy would never trade us for money. If that's all you have to say, then I'm leaving. However, just as Venom was about to leave, Kenshin stood up. He doesn't know, does he? What's happening to him? Venom stopped. Oh, I see. You never told him what you do to your hosts. Venom, what the hell is he talking about? Asked Izuku nervously. It starts off small, tiredness, loss of concentration, violent outbursts of anger, but soon the symptoms become worse. First the liver fails, then the kidneys, followed by the lungs, and finally the heart. Kenshin laughed. You kill every host, even those with a so-called perfect host. Venom roared, causing the split to splatter across Kenshin's face. Shut up. You know nothing, we can fix him. Kenshin smiled. We both know that's a lie, a farce you tell your host to gain their trust. In a fit of rage, Venom smacked Kenshin across the face, sending him flying back across the roof. Do not come near us anymore. If you do, your entire company will be burned to the ground. With that, Venom jumped from the roof. As he was, Izuku finally asked, is it true? What he said, is it true? Venom stopped atop a light pole. No, they are all lies. We would never do that to you. You cannot start doubting us, Izuku. Without us, remember, you are nothing. We gave you power, we gave you purpose, and we can be the ones to take it away. Remember that. Let's just go home. I'd rather stick around here any longer, said Izuku as they made their way back home. However, just as they were about to go home, Izuku got a call on the phone Shigaraki had given him. We are ready. Meet us at the location we are sending you at 12 p.m. We have a job for you, is all Shigaraki said before hanging up. Now at home, Izuku didn't say a word. Instead, he went straight to bed. Tomorrow he was finally going to pay back the debt he owed. Back on the roof, Kenshin was helped up by his men. Are you okay, sir? Kenshin nodded. Standing up, he straightened his tie. I'm fine. So, did the camera work? One of the men nodded. Yes, sir, the camera on your tie captured it all. Kenshin smiled. Good, send everything to the lab and have them analyze it all. The next day, Venom was swinging from building to building to get to his designated point. A while later, he finally landed on top of a warehouse. Making his way inside, he noticed that it was empty. What is this, some sort of prank? Asked Izuku. However, as Venom looked around, a black portal opened up in the middle of the warehouse. From it appeared Kurojiri. Venom, good, you're here. Please follow me, I will take you to the hideout. Nodding, Venom walked into the portal and once again found himself in the bar. Shigaraki sat on a stool. I thought you wouldn't show up. A deal is a deal, and we don't break our word. Now tell us, what are we going to do? Asked Venom. We are going to take down All Might, said Kurojiri. Venom's eyes widened. Can you do it? Can you really kill him? We can, and we will. Besides, we won't do it alone. Now as we speak several dozen minions are assembling, they are pawns but useful. You, on the other hand, will take down All Might along with one of my master's creations. Snapping his fingers, a portal opened up behind the villain, revealing a tall, muscular, bird-faced monster. Venom, meet Noma. Created for the sole purpose of killing All Might. Still a bit taller than the creature, Venom could tell it was special. This thing, it was once human, was it not? I'm surprised you can tell, but yes, this thing was once human. But after some experiments, he lost all of his humanity and turned into this. Explained Kurogiri. However, that's when Venom transformed his arm into a blade and sliced the Noma's arm off. The monster screeched out in pain. What the hell are you doing? Asked Shigaraki, furious. It cuts so easily, can this thing really take down All Might? Asked Venom. But in that moment Izuku noticed something. Venom, look, it's healing. Venom watched as the Noma began to regrow its arm, and in seconds he was as good as new. Perhaps I underestimated this thing. What else can it do? It has All Might's strength and speed, along with super regeneration, and one other quirk. With these quirks not even All Might will be able to take him down. Said Shigaraki with a smile. If it means we get to kill All Might, then let's go. It's about time we made him pay for what he did to us. Said Venom as his tongue whipped around. Kurogiri, take us. Ordered Shigaraki. Remember, All Might is our target, everyone else you can do as you please. Or better yet, kill them. Nodding, Kurogiri focused and opened a portal for the several dozen minions, and then one for them. Walking through it, Venom was temporarily blinded by the light of the sun. When his eyes adjusted, he noticed he was inside a dome. Where are we? This is the USJ, one of UA's many facilities. Thanks to my sources we found out that he would be here today along with the hero course. Said Shigaraki. Kurogiri, make sure they don't leave. Disappearing in a black cloud, Kurogiri went off to do what he was told. Izuku couldn't believe it. The hero course, then that means. Looking towards the entrance, Izuku could see a group of scared kids, and in the crowd stood Kyoka. And no. We can't do this anymore. Kyoka is there. Venom, surprisingly agreed, but if we attack Shigaraki, he might unleash that beast on us. I don't care. We have to stop Shigaraki. With Kyoka. Kyoka and her entire class now stood in fear as villains began to appear from the center plaza. There were attempts to call for help, but signals were being blocked. Standing in her hero costume, which consisted of a black jacket that ended at her waist and sleeves of her arms. She also wore a pale red shirt, a choker, and big boots that acted as speakers to plug her earphone jacks in. Man, I didn't think we would deal with real villains this early. Everyone stay back. Ordered Aizawa as he lowered his goggles. 13, get the students out of here. 13, another hero accompanying them nodded, right. Mr. Aizawa, what are you going to do? Asked Yurarika, worried. Don't worry about me, I got a few tricks up my sleeve for situations like this. Now go. Aizawa then jumped down the stairs and towards the villains. Aizawa was taking down several villains at a time thanks to his quirk that erased other quirks. That, and combined with his superior fighting style, he found himself taking on a large number of enemies and winning. As he fought, however, he caught a glimpse at Venom. Aizawa's eyes widened. What is he doing here? Did Venom join them? As he took down the few that remained in the plaza, he then turned his attention to Shigaraki. Wow, most impressive, Eraserhead, you managed to take down my pawns. But you won't be able to take down my secret weapon. Eraserhead, meet Noma, specifically designed to kill All Might. Noma, kill him. The Noma roared as it stomped its way towards Aizawa. He tried to use his quirk but found that it didn't even slow down. But that's when Venom grabbed Shigaraki by the arm. You didn't say we would be attacking students. What about All Might? He's supposed to be here, you will wait until he shows up. Said Shigaraki. Venom growled, we don't take orders from you. Annoyed, Shigaraki tried to reach for Venom, but Venom quickly jumped back. You know, Master said you could be of use to us. But honestly, you're nothing but a nuisance, just like those kids. I wonder what would happen if you were to face some of them. That's when a portal opened up from underneath Venom, causing him to fall through it. Now that that's out of the way, we can finally focus on you, Eraserhead. With Venom. Venom opened his eyes to find that he was several meters in the air and falling. Turning, he noticed that he was falling towards the direction of a mountainous area. Missing the edge of a cliff, Venom thought fast and dug his claws into the stone to slow his fall, before completely stopping. Damn that Shigaraki, he's going to pay for what he's done. We'll get our chance, but for now let's get out of here. We can't afford to fight any of the students, said Izuku, as Venom began to climb up the cliff. Jumping up, Venom landed on a ledge. However, before he could even survey the area, 2 black balls hit him in the chest. Venom looked down. What? That's when the 2 balls suddenly began to flash red and beep. What followed was 2 quick explosions that caused Venom to screech out in pain. Venom's chest split open with black fibers wiggling around the wound. Who dares? That's when someone came out from behind one of the rocks with a metal bow staff in hand. Take this, they yelled out as they jumped into the air and kicked Venom in the face. Unfazed, Venom simply grabbed the person by the leg and tossed them aside. Sliding to a stop, Venom noticed that it was a girl with black hair and who was wearing a rather revealing hero outfit. She must be one of the hero students. Don't hurt her, let's try to convince her we are not with them, suggested Izuku. Venom put up his hands. Wait, we don't want to fight. The girl looked at him weird. What, you came here to kill us, did you not? We came here against our will. We were forced here, explained Venom. I have nothing against you, so we'll just pretend we didn't see you. The girl thought about it, but before she could answer, a sound wave ripped through the ground. Don't fall for it, Momo. He's trying to lower your guard, yelled out Kyoka as she stuck her jacks into the ground. Kyoka? Damn it, why now of all times, said Izuku as Venom jumped forward and avoided the rocks. Momo nodded. Right, I can't believe he almost got me with his tricks. Venom landed behind the 2 girls. We weren't tricking you. Just listen to us. But Momo was done talking. Jiro, I'll distract him. Once I do hit him with a sound blast. Kyoka nodded. Right. With sparks coming off her arm, Momo began to create something. Once she was done, it materialized as a container. Throwing it into the air, it exploded, causing a smoke screen. Stop, we don't want to hurt you. That's when from within the smoke javelins appeared. Venom dodged out of the way, but everywhere he went the javelins would appear. How can she see us? As Venom pondered that question, a javelin came in and stabbed him in the shoulder. It did nothing, so Venom pulled it out and threw it back at Momo. The projectile landed centimeters from Momo's feet. I said no hurting them. That was too close, yelled out Izuku. Fine, we'll just knock her out then. Venom then heard beeping sounds. What? Looking on the cliff he was on, Venom noticed several little bombs stuck to the side. That's when Izuku put it together. She never wanted to hit us, she just wanted to distract us. Venom tried to jump out of the way, but just as he pushed off the wall, the bombs went off, sending him tumbling towards the ground. The explosions did some damage, but Venom was back on his feet in a matter of seconds. That's it. I warned you, playtime is over, growled Venom as he reshaped his hand into a Morning Star weapon. But before anything else could happen, a massive sound wave hit Venom, forcing him to his knees. Venom screeched out in pain as the black suit began to vibrate. However, it wasn't enough to force Venom into Izuku like the other times. Venom slowly began to get up, and taking a step he managed to walk. It slowed him down. Said Momo. Hit him again. Kyoka nodded and plugged in the other earphone jack into the speaker on her boot. The second sound wave hit Venom, and this was the one to force Venom to the floor. See, can't he hold on? Don't you dare, Venom, not right now. I need you, said Izuku as Venom began to peel itself off of Izuku. I'm going in, yelled out Kyoka as she made her way closer to Venom, which in turn just made things worse for him. The 2 girls watched as the black suit began to disappear, revealing Izuku underneath it. Now just a few feet away, the sound wave knocked Izuku seemingly unconscious. Kyoka stopped her quirk. Did we get him? Momo nodded. I think so. However, that's when she noticed, that thing, it's just like what father was looking for. With his head on the ground, Momo and Kyoka looked at Izuku. His hair is really green, isn't it? Asked Momo. Kyoka's heart began to race. Why yeah, he looks young too. Almost our age if I had to guess. Grabbing his shoulder, Momo flipped Izuku so they could get a good look at his face. Huh, so this is the face of the vigilante known as Venom. Kyoka's eyes widened. There on the floor laid Izuku. I knew it, I didn't want to believe it was you. Momo raised an eyebrow. Jiro, do you know him? But before Kyoka could answer, Izuku suddenly snapped his eyes open. Getting up fast, he grabbed Momo by the face and slammed her to the ground. Kyoka didn't even have time to react when Izuku grabbed her and pushed her to the ground. Now on top of her, Izuku looked Kyoka dead in the eyes. So what do you plan on doing now? Are you going to bite my head off? Asked Kyoka. Izuku's breathing was heavy. Why, you know I won't do that, not to you. Really? Cause I don't even know who you are anymore. Said Kyoka. Why are you with the villains? Izuku looked away. I owed them a favor. And I didn't know they were going to attack you, or you. If I had known that I wouldn't have agreed to join. Kyoka narrowed her eyes. How do I know you are not lying again? Izuku was about to respond when all of a sudden his heart rate began to increase. Grabbing his chest, Izuku got off of Kyoka and began to stumble backwards. Kyoka got up and immediately was worried. Izuku. What's wrong? I don't know. However, as he spoke, Izuku suddenly spit out blood. What Kenshin said was actually the truth. With blood running down the corner of his mouth, Izuku suddenly fell forward. Hitting the dirt hard, Kyoka ran to his side. Izuku. What the hell is going on? Izuku struggled to speak. Venom. Kyoka didn't understand, but one thing she did understand was that her friend was hurt and she needed to help him. She then heard footsteps. Looking up, Kyoka noticed that Momo had gotten back up. Momo, help me get him up. Why are you helping him? He's a villain, leave him, said Momo, confused. He's not a villain. He's my friend, please Momo, I can't leave him, said Kyoka. Momo looked at Kyoka and knew that she wouldn't give it up. Sighing, Momo nodded and began to help Izuku up. Now leaning up against Kyoka, they slowly made their way towards the plaza. As they were walking, Izuku spoke. Why, your hero costume, I like it. Kyoka smiled. Shut up and save your strength, I'll get you out of here. Then we are going to have a nice long chat. Izuku chuckled. I'd rather die. Kyoka looked ahead. If you live, I might do it myself. Down at the plaza. Izuku had lost. Even with his skills, he was no match for the Nomua. This was apparent by the fact that he was lying face down in a pool of his own blood. Grabbing his head, Nomua forced Izuku's head up. Blood ran down the hero's face as he groaned in pain. Shigaraki smiled seeing this. The Nomua is even better than Master said he was going to be. As Shigaraki boasted, Kurojiri appeared beside him. Ah, Kurojiri, I assume the children won't be a problem anymore. 13 is down, and most of the students are scattered. However, they managed to fight back and one even escaped, explained Kurojiri. Shigaraki began to scratch his neck. What? You are lucky, Kurojiri. If it weren't for the fact that you are our way out, I would have killed you by now. Taking a moment, Shigaraki calmed down. Oh well, seems like it's game over, let's go. Tsuyu Azui, a female student of Class 1A, and Mineta, a small short boy, floated in the lake just behind the villain. They could do nothing and watch as their homeroom teacher was beaten. Thinking they were undetected, they began to swim along the edge of the lake to try to get to safety. However, as they were, Shigaraki turned to them. If we can't kill All Might, we'll just kill as many students as we can. Faster than either student could react, Shigaraki appeared in front of them with his arm outstretched. Tsu's eyes widened. She had seen those very same hands disintegrate part of Izuku's elbow. She could only imagine what it would do to her. But as Shigaraki grabbed her face, he noticed that nothing was happening. You really are cool, Eraserhead. Looking back, Shigaraki saw Izuku looking at him with glowing red eyes. He had just erased his quirk. The Nomua grabbed Izuku by the hair and slammed him back into the pavement, breaking more bones. Sorry kids, not even your teacher will be able to save you now, said Shigaraki as he once again reached for Tsu and Mineta. This time, however, Tsu and Mineta suddenly felt something wrap around their costumes. They then suddenly felt themselves being pulled away. Shigaraki's hand missed. Now what? He yelled out, frustrated. Looking over to the left side of the lake, he noticed Momo had created 2 grapple guns. Handing one to Kyoka, they both managed to get their classmates out of harm's way. Pulling with all their might, the two managed to get them ashore. You two all right? Asked Kyoka. They both nodded. Thanks to you too, Ribbit, said Tsu as she untangled the wire around her chest. She then noticed Izuku leaning up against a rock. Who is he? Long story, right now we need to head towards the exit, said Momo. However, as they turned to leave, their path was blocked by the Nomua. Kyoka looked up. Horror filled her face. Aw crap. Nomua. Kill them, ordered Shigaraki. The Nomua roared as it raised its massive fist. As it brought it down, Momo tried to create something to shield them, but she wouldn't make it in time. The 4 students braced for whatever was coming, but that's when Izuku sprung into action. Even though Venom wasn't surrounding him, Izuku jumped in front of the punch. He knew he couldn't stop it, but if he took the hit head-on, Izuku would help them. With a loud boom, the Nomu's massive fist slammed against Izuku's entire right side. The hit rocked Izuku's body, shattering bones on impact. With blood flying out of his mouth as he flew, Izuku then slammed against a tree, forcing him to a complete stop. Kyoka couldn't believe it. Izuku. Running over to him, she couldn't believe what she was seeing. Laying on the floor motionless was Izuku, a broken, bleeding, and mangled mess. Some of the fingers of his hands were broken, his arm was snapped in two, and his legs faced the wrong direction. Izuku, no, why the hell did you do that? Asked Kyoka as she panicked. I couldn't let him hurt you, said Izuku as he struggled to breathe. You have to run, go, run. But Kyoka shook her head. I'm not leaving you. How sweet, then you can both die together, said Shigaraki. Nomu, kill them both. Nodding, the Nomu began to walk towards Kyoka and Izuku. I'll leave now, repeated Izuku. But Kyoka refused to move. She was going to stay and fight. Moving her jacks towards her boots, she was about to plug them in when someone told her to stop. Don't. Sound is harmful to us, do not let out another sonic attack. The Nomu was now in front of Kyoka, with its massive claws ready. It brought them down towards Kyoka. She closed her eyes and got ready for the pain, but to her surprise there was none. Instead she heard the screeches of the Nomu as it roared in pain. Opening her eyes, Kyoka noticed that it had black tendrils stabbed into its torso. Looking back at Izuku, she noticed that he was partially covered in a black goo. Izuku. Get behind me, said Izuku as he forced himself up. How are you standing? Asked Kyoka. Venom, he healed me, but not fully. Most of my body is still damaged, but I can move, and that's what matters. With half his face covered in venom, Izuku lifted his arm and flung the monster away from them. You won't touch her. Shigaraki couldn't believe it. A kid? Venom is just a kid. We aren't just a kid. No, we are Venom, said Izuku as half of his voice distorted into Venom's.